Please tell me it works. Please. Okay, thank you, Jesus. Alright. Oh my God, Lord of fucking Jesus. This was, I think, one of the most biggest struggles I had in, like, what? What? I don't know. The longest time ever. Oh my God, I'm literally hearing myself in the headsets of my Switch. Jesus, lol. So, yeah, okay. Probably have to. So yeah, I have literally a Wii U laying at me. I have a Nintendo Switch laying at me with microphones, with headsets, to hear if, and I'm not joking, actually. And with the Switch, I can see what you guys are saying. The reason why is because I'm getting sick and tired of this Streamlabs not working fucking correctly like usual. Also, thank you so much, everyone, for almost reaching me to 30 subscribers, you know? Out of nowhere, 3 more. I'm very happy with that, actually. So thank you for whoever subscribed to me. Sadly enough, I cannot see how many people are watching. That's sad, but... It says 1, but more. But okay, let's actually go to the real, and that is, you know, playing the game, actually, for now. So yeah, last time we left off at Rebecca. Or yeah, we got to see what happened to Marianne. She got locked up and etc. Now we're at... well, pretty much Rebecca's one, and it's a pretty long one. If I could see with with how many dialogue interactions and butterfly effects there are. So yeah, so we're gonna have so much fun. But yeah, let's continue. Oh, I cannot really. Okay, the gentle wind drifting through the wide open windows. Muffled laughter and footsteps fading behind empty hallways, and the light kisses the afternoon sun. Soon there will be a call, a crossing of thresholds to the unknown. Maybe you're off to some grand adventure or diving into a crippling mystery. One can really tell. For all I know, a hero might even sweep me off my feet if I'm lucky.
That's not exactly a bad thing when you think about it.
But this is far from one, isn't it? A rivulet tale it is. That is. It's October. Oh, so it's Friday, so meaning... Oh, it's the day that they had, okay. The mild breeze of faint mirth, the warm rays painting every nook and cranny of the third hay they all got again. So as I want to write a little tale out of this, I'm far from someone who can. Fleeting fancies, what they are, merely passing through to the end of the idle mind while waiting for another busy work day to end. Then again, maybe in another life I am one, who knows. But at present, what I have and what I've chosen to be, well...
I won't last years here if I find teaching rowdy adolescents a tedious job, will I?
Admiringly, the whole affair is exactly the grand excitement I imagined as a child. If it weren't so stubborn or too pessimistic, gullible idea, I would probably wouldn't be able to long term. But it's always the kids that make work for his business. The agreements and syntax like this need serve again rating final bell rings. Get down the open suit duty and begin to know out. It's the hallway soon after. Sure, for a few minutes. minutes, I let the noise fill my ears, then my mind wandered to a place far removed from the pub. Solitary moments like this have come few and far between lately. Even my own home hasn't been as quiet as usual as I prefer. Though in hindsight, the entire place hasn't been the same either since Isabel moved in next door. And if her fuzzing over the minor cold last week holds anything, I might as throw any idea of solitude out of the nearest balcony so long as it lives nearby. And my eyes automatically shift over to the bauble sitting at the edge of my desk. Okay, so this Rebecca's chapter begins after Isabella left the pills for her. Okay. A chuckle escaped from me as I reached for it.
A little ball of energy and enthusiasm. That big baby.
Mother and Min, she called me, then says and does the same thing right after. It's not that I'm unused to being a received end of other people's worries, or I feel any sort of apprehensions over her fretting. If I'm the complete honest, it's actually amusing how someone could be a childlike 1 minute, then act like a responsible adult the next. There's a dissonance there, both in her actions and words. Although she may not look like it, may not say anything, may not lose her cheer one way or another, I know these troubles have weighted down on her lately. Her face says it all, that big numpty. If she thinks I won't notice, she gets another thing going for her. That's how she always been. I do understand the part loud and clear. It's just that rather not pass another burned into her.
Or become one myself.
Aren't I supposed to be the one taking care of them? Though I guess that's simply one of those things people eventually grow away from once they all started leading different lives. ... Not completely different, I hope. Somehow that though makes me feel uneasy. Thankfully, before a stranger's idea can take a root in my head, a faint buzzing comes from my back, cutting through the rest of my thoughts. A small frown frums in my lips when the screen lights up and an unknown number flashes. For a long second, my thumb... Rose! It's Rose! Yeah! I was a button, even with a voice that responds. Once I do accept the call, it holds me unfamiliar.
Hello?
Finally it connects. Hello? Is this Miss Gales? Rebecca Gales?
Yes, Yes, speaking. Who is this?
Oh, sorry. Rose Cooper. Briar Realty Corporation.
Briar Realty?
My frown deepens as I straighten from my chair. Something in her tone, despite sounding remarkably friendly and light, doesn't sit quite well with me. A real pause that follows doesn't help ease the tension that has suddenly descended.
Miss Cooper?
Yes. Things are a bit busy on my end. I apologize. I'm not certain if Isabella has mentioned anything before, but we're working together on a property at the moment, and...
The Armengard Mansion, yes. She said something about that earlier. Is there a problem?
This is about Isabella, actually.
She wasted no time relating everything. The details she provided are admirably and vague, but enough for me to get the gist of what happened. It isn't the bad sort I'm expecting, though, still worrying, especially with the words panic attack and pale look a bit silkily woven together in one forbidden sentence. But as quickly as it surfaced, I stomped down and argued to demand answers right there and then. Now isn't the proper time for useless questions. I'll find out soon enough regardless. To Miss Cooper's credit, she neither hesitated nor faltered all throughout. There's some sort of comfort in knowing Isabel, someone like her, to guide her, though not as much as I would liked. After all, this Isabella we're talking about. What are the chances she's just said a bunch of excuses so she won't go sent home? High, very high. Oh, she is so going to hear it this time.
You were listed as one of her emergency contacts, so I thought it'd be best you know about this.
she? Is she doing okay?
I had her take a break for now, but honestly, I'd feel better if someone would pick her up and take her home for some rest. Anthem's a fair distance from Luxbourne. I really don't want her going off on her own. I do it myself, but you know how it is today. Big day. People everywhere until the open house ends. I'm really sorry to ask this of you, Miss Gales. I know you're busy.
Oh, no, it's all good. I was just about to leave from work. I hope to leave early today anyway. A few minutes ahead wouldn't hurt. I can be there in a few, 30, 40 minutes tops. Is that all right?
More than fine, Miss Gales, thank you. Oh, excuse me. One moment, please. Yes, ma'am.
The faint hums of conversation echoes from her end, and as though the place is buzzing with more people than I expected from a regular open house. It's skeptical at first. The house is old, not to mention inconvenient location in Luxburg's outskirts. Who wants to live in a place almost an hour drive away from the comfort of the city? But from what little I can hear, it appears Isabella has every right to be optimistic about this sale. And then I understand why she was adamant refused my offer of help before I think I do now. To some degree.
I'll be resuming the tour soon. Yes, thank you. Sorry about that time. We need to get things going. Lord knows how I'll salvage the situation here. It shouldn't be anything complicated, but still, clients. They can be difficult when they want to be. Anyway, just look for me when you get here, alright? I shouldn't be too hard to miss.
No problem. Thanks for letting me know about this. Just make sure Isabella stays put, please. Heaven knows how stubborn that girl can be.
Oh, believe me, I know. Don't worry about it. I'll have a few of us staff keep an eye on her for me until you get here.
That's all I'm asking. I appreciate it.
The whole thing ended on a surprisingly pleasant note, if only the same can be said of the news she brought. Allow a brief moment to pass to ease whatever tension has laid firmly to my nerves. But no matter how much I wished for it, my mind stubbornly refused to do so. My hands are unsteady against the paper I pretended to arrange after. Looted, though, every single ouch of it grimmer than the other grounds. With each passing second I linger. Something about this whole thing, along with the sudden unease and nagging word scares off wrong. This isn't really a tale I've hoped to step in today. Even on a rush, getting everything in order before leaving take nearly a good quarter hour. But by the time I make it out of the classroom, the commence has already died down, revealing to mere echoes of distant laughters. From a nearby room, melodies from a band drift freely into the air, filling the most empty hallways with their warm, lovely tones. Any other day, I'll stop making the music and enjoy what a piece it brings. Not today, however. Mess up what brings and sure emerge the Edward Hall's exit. The sooner I confirm Isabel's okay, the sooner I can shake off this niggling feeling. For one reason or another, that single call of all past possibilities things has thrown everything off kittle. I'd rather this be over as quickly as possible. So much that I nearly fell off the students in my haste, though perhaps it's really the other way around. Oh! What was her name? Alex. Kylie. The name's Kylie. I looked at the seven eyes, so say her arm wrapped around his wrist like a device, and my tensing face splits over it. Ben, you talked meeting? Nope, no voice.
Hello, Kylie. You know, you aren't supposed to run into people like that.
Sorry, Miss Pink. Why she has no voice? She loosened her hold on me, but not a hint of glance gets appeared on her. If anything, it seems to be remarks only amused to her. Smell appears on before I can help with matching the other one.
Just remember not to do it again, alright? You could get hurt.
You don't want to when she's scolding Rowan, Miss Pink.
I'm sure your mama only means well. I know she'll be worried sick if one of you were to get hurt. Where's your brother anyway? Aren't you two supposed to be heading home now?
Rowan said he's got some stuff he needs to do before we go. I think he's taking too long. But he promised to buy me jelly babies today if I keep what he's doing a secret from Mama and Papa.
Any chance you'll tell Miss Pink about it?
She shakes her head, both her hands going to her mouth as if to keep a precious secret from spilling out.
I need a promise. She said it's for Tia Luke.
Oh, something like a gift?
Like a deal. Tio promised to take him somewhere cool when he's old enough. Rowan's gonna prove he's a grown-up.
Laughter slips free from my lips. The teacher and me wants to give whoever this Tio is a prime for bringing behavior to children. But if both sex hits are found on him, there shouldn't be anything to worry about. Yes. At any rate, nothing but well-behaved, hiding brother. Run of elders may have their associates on the streets out of the flat, but their parents fall down well. I see no reason to cast any suspicion of that behavior.
As long as it isn't anything dangerous, all right?
It's not. Cross my heart. My drawings are a lot prettier than what he's doing anyway. Tio said so. Do you want to see? I drew one earlier at class.
Is that why you're here?
Not really. I was gonna show it to my friend first. But since it's you, I'm sure she wouldn't mind if you see it before she does.
Oh no. I can't stay right now, Kylie.
Her face, Amelia, the words are out. Feels responsible if a cars feel like that, but as much as I want to stay a little longer, there's another place I need to be right now. And frankly, another child to look after. Taking both of her hands nearly in front of her, most smile I can give. At her age, I'm quite sure she already understands what I'm about to say before I have to even out. But remarkably, she doesn't look away and pounds as I'm expecting her to.
I'm sorry. You know what? Rowan has a class with me on Monday around this time. Why don't you drop by again next week, after class? I'll even make sure to wait for you. It's just that I absolutely must leave now. My friend had an accident earlier, and I'm the only one she has here.
What about her Mama and Papa?
Her family lives really far from here, I'm afraid. Do you remember where Asia is? The southeast part? That's where they are.
As Amelia light up at my question, just like that, I know I have earned that girl's forgiveness.
Oh, just like Takako.
Who?
My friend. She said he used to live there, only just a little higher than southeast. But she hasn't come home in a long time, so she doesn't remember much about it anymore. Melanie says it's weird I talked to her, but I think she's just shy. They could be good friends too! Don't you think so, Miss Pink?
Maybe if you introduce them properly, they will be.
That's what I think. Takako's just lonely. If she meets more friends, she won't be anymore. Is your friend like that too?
A little, possibly. To be honest, sometimes I can't tell with her.
After all, Isabella has always been the kind to hold a smile, even when things have turned for the worst. 5 years, and one would think it's enough time to know a person. But when you consider it, comes to think of it, all these years I've never, not even once, seen her cry. Not even a trillion matter, or even when things are tough.
Okay, you can go to her. I'll just show you my drawing next time.
Thank you. Remind me to buy you a huge glass of parfait, alright?
No, I'll get a stomachache. Takako says so. A small one is okay.
I'll remember that. Say hi to your friend for me.
I will. I'm sure she'd love to meet you too. See you, Miss Pink.
I'll see you later, Kylie.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady.
Step, she bounds across the corner with much space only child her age can have, as if the country has never taken any downhill turns for her at all. As if there is isn't a single thing to worry about in the world. Not long after she disappears behind the door, leaving behind strange of an old familiar rhythm lingering in the air. Carefree, unbidden, untroubled moments like this, I envy her. And as I resume my hurried pace, the tiny whisper at the back of my mind, wise to the same can be said myself, my own worries. Luxembourg may be a small city, but not strange to hellish rush hour traffic. But surprisingly, getting out of the city today proves me more of a breeze than I hassle. A relief, considered how none of my calls to Isabel have made it through. Either the reception really bad over there, or she is ignoring them on purpose. Both does nothing to ease the disquiet in me. The rest of my drive passed without much incident as soon as I'm out the busy streets. In less than 30 minutes the mansion looms ahead of me. For all the fuzzy Isabella made of the house, it remains a thing to beauty. Unlike Luxembourg, the estate is a nearby asylum village standing completely opposite. Living and breathing the song of old, whispers of a one booming have lingered in the air. Contrast convincing aside, it's a place I'm glad modernistic hasn't wholly touched.
It's just a shame the locals know more of the silly hearsay than the history itself. If I could only knock some sense into these people!
Sadly, complaining is all I can afford to do, as much as I want to give them a piece of my mind. It isn't why I'm here. I don't think these rich type will appreciate getting a lecture from me. Either I have as much business with them as they have with me. With a heavy sigh, I give myself one last second to take into a snare before heading off to the main entrance. Most of the guests were already heading once, though some still linger and mainly just take photos of the house, pervading of the various rooms. I pause for a moment, scanning the whole crowd gathering in our foyer, looking for any sign of familiar ponytail among the sea of the hats and heads.
No sign of her.
No sign of the other staff, or Miss Cooper either. I can certainly look for Isabel on my own, but the place is too big. Luckily, if it didn't end up lost or finding her before we need to meet with Zachary and Ash tonight. Suddenly I reach my mobile and number, the couture familiar now after so many attempts earlier. She doesn't answer. I can still try to contact Miss Cooper. Just hope the network reception will cooperate this time. This side of the country has never been popular with tech-savvy after all. To my relief, it only took 3 unsuccessful tries. At the 4th one, where I'd switched another interception message and the line finally rings. ... Silence follows while I wait for her to pick up. The ring goes far too long for my taste. By now, most of the visitors have already cleared out. All I have for company is a faint murmurs, the eerie calmness left in their wake. Suddenly hush sets to give me a noise louder than ever meant to be. Doors creaking and slamming shut in the distant part of the mansion. Floorboards grunting under the sheer weight of the house history. Now empty hall, there's an all remembered with special clarity against the walls. Like this, those old stories seem to get to almost have a ring of truth to it. I don't get to stray far into the ugly lines though, however. Now a second later, clicks sound from the other end.
Hello? Isabella? Miss Cooper called earlier and... Isabella? Belle? Are you alright?
Without any warning, the call gets cut off. Busy notes blur sharply against the heavy silence, but above the noise cutting through the mutter remains a faint cry of a woman. From beyond the foyer, my hands fall off the side, cast away, looking or waiting for someone to coming or running. Surely I can't be the only one hearing this. I mean, like, you should have, I don't know, if Isabella doesn't call, why not call back Miss Cooper? Because I think every phone, you can go back to your dialing of who you called, and you could click on unknown phone number and then just call Miss Cooper, But no one does. Not even when her sobs turn more fantastic and ungod. It's a more sensible thing, but I guess we have to take more dramatic,
Excuse me? Hello? Who's there? Isabella? Isabella? Is that you? ...
No answer. Growing anxiety, I amble over where the cries come from, each step slowly and excited towards the door at the other end of the room. While I'm far from someone who readily gives in fear of stories lacking base, fake regardless feeling I have early imitated immediately returned to me. Despite myself, my heart begins to race and breathing quickly.
Belle, it's me. Miss Cooper called. Is everything okay?
All of it stops. My whole body tenses, mouth dragging and ragging, breathes, ears strained with another sound yet to comes from the other side, but nothing follows. There's no quiet alone leads itself to the heavy tension in the air, as if every small movement disturbed the fragile stillness hanging in the room. I wait for another second, then, with all caution, reach for the knob. My finger barely grazing the handle, hand falls on my shoulder.
Excuse me. I am so sorry. I didn't mean to startle you.
Still revealing my gaze, shifting back to the door. It's a second, now cries will start again, however, standing outside the door of the room. But I don't get it to all of these. The one word, his voice breaks right through the haze of my mind again. I'll be shaking to pick up my uneasy. Even the concerns feel confidence on a stranger, finally being in company of someone else is how comfortable.
Ma'am? Are you okay?
Oh, no, I'm fine. This is probably just some cold.
Do you need to sit down?
No need. I'm actually looking for a friend.
I wave the mobile in front of her, like a sir alone explain everything. Vaguely, I know my tight grip and quickly slip into my pocket before she notices she doesn't need to know.
Well, I'm not really sure if your friend would still be here. We're actually about to close the open house in a few minutes, ma'am.
No worries. She's not a guest here. She works for Briar Realty. Miss Cooper called me earlier. In fact, I'm also looking for her.
Recognize flashed in her eyes. She word expressed dissolved into a smile at once. It's all I need to know, but I don't have to look elsewhere and venture deep into the mansion on my own. In some way, I'm not too keen on the latter right now.
Miss Rebecca Gales, is it?
Yes. Sorry if I'm a bit late.
It's not a problem. I was busy with the open house and a few clients anyway. It's actually a good thing you came when you did. Let's see. Isabella should be here somewhere. I told her to stay put earlier. Girl never listens.
Rose? Rosie? May I have a minute? There's just this one little thing before we go.
Miss Cooper head immediately snaps up to the voice. In a blink, a different kind of smile spreads on her face. A smile still friendly, even a better kind, giving many of the sake of pleasing other people rather than making friends.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be there in a few.
It's an impressive thing, to say the least. The level of professionality. I suppose working years in this kind of business trains you enough to be able to pull that off without batting on an eye. It certainly doesn't seem to have a rubbing off on Isabel, though.
Sorry, could you give me a second? I have to take care of this.
Don't worry about it. I understand. I can wait a few more minutes. Clients, right?
You won't hear anything from me. Priorities, you know? But if you want, you can stay at the parlor in the meantime. I think we have a few refreshments left.
No, thank you. I'm going out with a few friends after this. Isabella's supposed to join us too. But that depends on how she's doing, of course.
Alright, this won't be long, I promise.
He throws me an apologetic look before sounding over the small group gathering in the entrance. A couple or siblings, another woman, probably their secretary. Either way, they look no different from the other guests. All three of them permanently dressed, able to manner significantly, simple than the others, no frill, no exaggerate of any form. But their spirit and movement alone speaks volumes of their intimate lifestyle. In their presence, I do what I can to appear impetus on my side of foyer. Maybe accepting Miss Cooper's offer would be much better. Cooper's offer would be a much better choice than standing around awkwardly gasping at them. All while also attempting my best to not listen to the conversation. Although that that one proves more difficult than how exasperating the blonde woman is, her voice easily echoing through the walls with only the 5 of us here. Pretty soon I find myself drawn into the talk without meaning to.
Tomorrow? First thing in the morning?
First thing in the morning, ma'am.
The monitoring Madame talk isn't about how to catch them, however.
Very well. We'll have our lawyers prepare everything as soon as possible. Let's make this whole thing easier for everyone, shall we? Just let me know if there's anything you need from me. You know how to contact me, yes?
Got your mobile number saved here already.
Good. It's just a matter of time, then.
It's a brief moment. A really shift of my eyes.
Monday for us, Marianne.
As long as you're positive, we won't be having any problems by that time. You can count on my team.
You worry too much. Let me handle those things. Do be thrilled, though. I imagine it's not every day you get projects like this,
In an instant, I turn my gaze on him. I see.
Oh, I'm certain it's ecstatic, Buttercup.
Blue.
Aren't you, Marianne? You know, we could all celebrate this with a few drinks. Why don't we? In fact, there's this really excellent Irish pub I visited a few days ago.
Looming, hovering over his shoulder, drawing to him like a moth to a flame. A dark blur, no, a shadow.
I think I'll pass on that, sir. I have more important matters to attend to.
Darling, your liver.
What was with the...
You already had a glass today, and apparently a few days ago as well.
It's like her... Is she becoming more tiring or like not good? Because...
How many times do we have to remind you? Doctor's orders, remember?
What a shame. You never let me do anything fun.
So that makes sense of it, heavily feeling the sense over my whole body. It happens without warning, focused my close to my eyes. The sense creep over my part of me, crawling onto my skin. New strength. Before I know it, my hands grip the nearby door for sports that drowns out of the voice. There is. I'll expect a whispering and laughters, judging, mocking, flaunting, muffling, inaudible word bearing down on me like a death sentence. They wrap around my neck and limbs, pinning tightly with every symbol, every uttering. With each draw of the breath, I could take it dragging my down slowly, almost painfully, into a bottomless abyss. On, and on, and on, till the sound turns to a murmuring distant echo, until suddenly it shatters.
Well, what are we waiting for? Are we done here?
His voice slips through the fog, a sharp blade. Eyes snap open. When I look at them again, it's gone.
Just a second, darling. Send my regards to Isabel, please. Poor girl. Please let her know she doesn't have to worry and tell her to get some rest. Anyway, we're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Likewise, ma'am.
No shadow of dark clouds, no enemies smiles. Usually a mist crew leads them out of the mountains like a grateful host. None of the group seems to be have noticed it. And even as I force my breathing to calm down, I keep my eyes strained back and waiting for something to happen. It doesn't come back. She returns in a moment later. Gently she closes the great door behind her, but there's a smile on her lips and an extra skip in her step as she walks back to me. However, whatever she's discussing with the group had put her in a good mood. Even she appears to have not observed anything odd. What I just seen things?
Glad that was over. It's been a long day. I thought for sure we're going to... hey, are you sure you're doing okay? You look a bit green.
It's all good. I'm actually still recovering from a cold. Weather's been crazy lately.
That must be it. The weather, the stupid cold, and friendly warning I'm too stubborn born to listen to. As much as I hate to admit it, Isabel's right. I still have a feverish when she visited me at school this morning. The medical helped, of course, but only some. Although it's not like I can't function. It did get better after lunch and I was able to get through my schedule like the usual. Now I'm not sure. However, I can't keep acting like this have seen some sort of apparatus when I say anything about it. I simply must listened too much to Isabel last week. My fever muddling mind has started to confuse things. If this doesn't let up, I just need another visit to my doctor, plain and simple. Though I did hope it won't get worse. We did promise to watch Zachary's film together.
I know what you mean. I've been complaining to Isabel. It doesn't seem to affect her much, though. Must be because she grew up in the tropics. Anyway, shall we? She's probably hanging out with the rest of the catering staff.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised she's there. She eats like 10 hungry men when she isn't feeling well. Lead the way.
With a small nod, she started to me to follow me. I do so without much thought, finally putting everything in the back of my mind. ... The entire visit took a whole 24 minutes, and my trip to the mansion has turned out to use the device on itself. Isabel was no longer there, left shortly before I arrived. Or at least that's what a few staff who saw her amused. None of them knew where she went, but only take a few guesses. There's only a number of places in Oxford she frequently, and she never had been complex kind. It doesn't really take a genius to figure it out. Still, it's odd she left on her own. She couldn't have been waiting for Miss Cooper. It wouldn't have saved her having to pay the cab fare twice today.
And right after she was told to stay put! I mean, who does that? Oh, sod off! You don't know the road!
In the end, all Miss Cooper could give me was a string of apologies for my troubles and requests to let her know when I find Isabella. The whole affair didn't even last long. I probably spent more time traveling back and forth. Soon enough, I'm waving my back to the downtown Luxembourg, where it's sick and on top, maybe a little annoyed. Whether at the unexpected turn of events or at Isabel herself, it's rather not to think about it for now. Not when I'm already running late for Zachary's movie. Besides, I'm perfectly sure that's where I'll find her. As one would expect, people are already gathering at the movie house when I get to it. The small event where the launch has been closed off early from any passing traffic to make away from it. While the moviegoers who be sure to crowd the venues. I have to park almost streets away and walk the remaining distance because of it. Looking for them has taken a while. The crowd is big, but I eventually spot them near the entrance. Thanks to Zachary mostly. Yeah. Like, I've sure missed Isabel's with them.
Wait.
Wasting no time, I emerged over there to a little group. Words filled with the concern trolling out my mouth before I could stop myself.
Isabella! Oh, thank goodness! Becca, you're just in time.
An odd expression crosses her face as I hold with both hands, but in order to favor of getting a good look of her, forcing her to keep myself fixed in case.
Becca, you're squishing my face. How are you? Are you alright? Why wouldn't I be?
There doesn't seem to be any visible injury, nor does she appear to be in pain. Apart from her confusing frown at my question, she looks pretty much like she would be any other day. Even so, you can't really tell those things at the first glance. The last time she got sick, she never bothered to call anyone, even me, who lives right next door. If I haven't checked on her then, she probably would have died on her bed. The rest of her was none too wiser. It's one of those who laughter about now. The moments like these also teach you something about a person. If anything, it has given me more reason to concern and worry about her. The moment the familiar name comes up, I know concerns right now are complete basilisk.
Rose called me earlier.
Her expression shifted, changed. Gently as she said, Isabella pushed my hands away. Yet even before she said anything, I already have a hunch of the whole things would play out.
Oh no, everything's good. Rose covered for me at work today. That's not what I'm talking about. How's your head?
Then and there, the whole conversation goes down as a leaf. She dodges as my hand will reach out to back her, pretending to, and even makes a hike behind Zachary just to avoid me. Instantly, what is result to be simply dissolved into a shameless game of tag. He shouted and chases like none of us can be bothered to act like this full-grown adult we're supposed to be, including Ashton. I wouldn't put it past Isabel, but Ash out of everyone. In fact, that smirk on his face tells me everything. He finds this whole mess amusing. Oh, for the love of...
Isabella, this isn't a laughing matter.
She did look pale when I saw her.
Wow. Thanks a lot, Ashton. You traitor. I'll get you back for this. Just you wait.
What? I'm just saying it as it is. If you mentioned this earlier, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
There's a moment of pause. My hand's still mid-air as my attention shifts to Ashton and the word is left hanging between the four of us. He doesn't seem to meet my eye. I don't think I've word what he said, but the meaning is equally syllable alone is clear. And they echo. They sting. They burn.
I'm sorry. Stop call her.
Yeah, they arrived together. Better look fine to me then. No.
Of course. Who else would Isabella leave on her own after being told to stay put after their little chat about money this morning? Something close to silence falls with I mull over their words, both what already have been said and what left unspoken. When I do find my voice, it only reeks with nothing but bitter, unpleasing thoughts. Though I can stamp out before they surface, though I hide the best I can in the deepest part of my mind, locking it away from no one else to see.
Oh, that's good. At least she didn't have to travel alone, right? At least. Good.
Yet, try as I might, the green-headed monster easily rears its ugly head, like it always does every time its gaze lingers a single second longer. Every time it smells in a manner far too gentle, far too senior, whenever he thinks no one can see. Every time my mind suggests his words mean more than they should. Every small little thing, despite what they say, despite his tone.
Look, guys.
For all I know, it may be just some kind of fondness born from the friendship. Maybe I'm simply overthinking, like he often tells me, or maybe there really is something there. But in the shortly of impatience, I know the whole thing of this just show. After all, growing up together with him didn't teach me nothing about him. For whose sake is it this time now? For him, for Zachary, for her, or for me? That I can't tell.
If she says she's okay, then there's nothing we can do about it. It's not like we can stop her either. Besides, she's still acting like the same old Isabella to me, if she can still run around like that.
Why are you at her side?
I'm not. But if she wants to watch Zach's movie with us, I'm not going to stop her. She's probably the one looking forward to it the most.
Ash, that's... You, of all people, should know...
Tell you what, if I notice something amiss with her, I'll take her to the nearest hospital myself. Is that good enough for you?
My mouth opens and snaps shut, also is quickly firming a tin hard line instead. I can't respond, not because there's nothing to say. On the contrast, there's plenty of so many things I can use to reason give him to agree, but because he spoke with much certainty and much assurance, it feels like it isn't even a choice. All I can give is a long, deep breath, no nod on the face of it, before I can get a grip on my weakness can merely shift, and I'm being tackled in the heart.
Thanks, Becca! It's always been you and him, isn't it? Did you say something? Me? Nothing. Don't mind me.
A lie, obviously. Who else can it be? Each and every smile, a tiny effort to keep it as they are, or so I told myself. Little do I know, it's a mercy permeable. ... It starts out quietly, without face, friendly jibs and harmless teasing, with a scrap of paper flustering harmlessly to the ground. I need to get myself a drink because I'm really getting a hard time reading and talking, actually, guys, so... See you in a minute. Much better. Now I hope that my will keep it better. Let me actually hear it now. Yeah, the audio seems fine. Yeah. Thank God that the audio is actually good and not really bad. Once there's especially look a cheap Halloween prank, no matter how you look at it. And yet, despite how Isabel's stubborn words insist, as if the whole life depends on the acknowledgement of the truth in her story. Does she even realize how absurd she sounds now? Driven, even my student would fall for this.
Isabella, aren't you taking this a bit too far?
She doesn't give me the time to regret, nor think over my choice of words from there. It's escalate growing into an argument, too pretty even for that status as an adult. Before we know it, one after another, harsh, scratching words are being spoken.
It's not a joke! Will you guys listen to me first? I saw something in the house earlier. It stood right in front of me.
Why are we literally going back to this? You know, we have seen this already, so why do we have to get another, you know?
If I hadn't gotten away, that thing might have...
Right. And in broad daylight, Isabella, even someone gullible will find the logic in that screwed up. There's also no way in hell that this supernatural shit is true.
But it's real! What do you think I saw?
A hallucination? A delusion? Didn't you say you fell down some stairs? So maybe Rebecca's right.
It happened after, when I was trying to get away. I almost got stuck in the same room with that thing. We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
But someone has a patience in all of this. However much has already been threaded earlier, there's no one else. Who else can be deal with something selfish, acting like a child? Like everyone other times, it has to be me.
We are, and you know that. But this thing and that thing has got nothing to do with the other. When Rose called earlier, I thought she's just exaggerating. But based on what I'm seeing right now, maybe it's better to really postpone this for now.
Don't bother.
Just like that, she cuts it off, slams the door right on our face with flare before I can stop it, though it further breathes her expression on her when she snatches the bladder of paper from Ashton. I hold on to it. Regardless of the upset she appears, short, present, veiled, fisting, thrown, attention of something unacceptable. For a grown woman at that. Words from the tip of my tongue already. But before I can open my mouth and let all of out, her feelings and mistakes be damned. Zachary raised the voice.
Guys!
A warning unknown names the warning and hopefully beats his voice. We all stopped and looked at him, even though his anger settled us a little at this.
Why don't we all calm down first? I'm sure Isabella has her reasons too. No need to be hard on her. And ain't this supposed to be a happy get-together?
To an outsider, it may sound like a desperate request, but Zachary has always been the one keeping a level head over petty squabbles. It's time no different. He knows what to see when it lets it fall. The only wing sharply.
We haven't seen each other for months. I'd really love to know what y'all have been up to. I only ever get to talk to Bella over chat. Please.
As careful as my own tone, it does make me feel ashamed. We're all supposed to be here for him, to give a little support and give, yet here's to trying to keep the three stubborn worst people from outright hasting into the public. Later we can and I will talk about it, of course. There's a proper time and place for it. In a moment my anger and however the prince that cares no longer matters. Besides me, Ashton appears to already have caught on. The lines of shoulder ease to something more relaxed, stretching back to the usual non-collant. Isabella, however, she stands perfectly still, her hands grasping the string of the bag like a lifeline, restrained at the point near her shoes. There's no anger in her face, only an omelette hurts. But she's never been good at hiding what she thinks. Always the open book, always the one to wear our hearts out in the open. And she looks up and answers and says,
If we keep arguing here, we're going to miss the first 20 minutes.
I this is the choice if Isabella didn't go. Her lips are full up in a smile. Though lack both in the usual brightness and glee, it's simply nonetheless. If I've seen it countless of times, the very same one will show when she knows how no other choice or simply when things go through her. Despite everything I already know about her, he'll catch me on horns. In all honesty, I expect her to run to ball for the first sight, losing this time. I want you to be surprised. At 26, she is the youngest among the rest of us. That's less experienced as the accomplice is dealing with trivial quarrels like this. Yet here she is holding herself in company with it like how she would matters concerning her family. Outside of that, to me, she's always been this childish, naive girl watching the hopes they lay out right now. Somehow I found it difficult to wrap my head around.
Oh, good. I thought for sure you were going to cry.
But I came, baby.
What was that for?
Stop calling me a crybaby! I'm not one.
Oh, don't cry.
Stop it!
And they were her spirits, her warmth, her cheer, the shine in her eyes when she looks at the world. How everything seems to be simply fall back to pleasant, lovely rhythm with her own. How easily and tightly she fits in our lives, even without bonds. Only long years with fortune, like a lost piece of puzzle despite her jagging edge. How she draws people to her with ease. How Ashley and all people drawn to her.
Okay, you're scared yet then.
That too! If you repeat that, I swear I'll...
Let's just go.
I know ever to keep bitterness from my tone. I let it seep, fingers stiff in her hair as they engage from their playful bonding, their friendly teasing, harmonic actions, tender defense, smiles. All before the stabbing ache in my heart changed into something too painful to bear. It's all in my head, I often tell myself. Yet, the way my heart renders, just the sight of them hurts. And like a coward, I walked away from it all, taking with me a small hope the movie would distract me away from these thoughts. But because like this, I'll find it's easy to find someone to hate in her. But Dust has already given me a night that we're leaving the movie fest. Of course, it does nothing to improve my mood, like I'm hoping neither does the muggy air that greets me upon stepping back into the noisy streets. Too busy, too loud, too many people talking, the little space the cyclist offers. He forces anyone to bump shoulders with those who barely know, let alone care about. On the normal evening, I probably would have minded the crowd nor the humid weather. It's not like any of them are bothering anyone. And yet, even with what's admittedly a pleasant company, I can't bring myself to light it up.
See you guys some other time.
Yeah, see ya!
Now, even to return the smile, Ashton and kids to go a separate way. Perhaps this started with Miss Cooper's call earlier on that. Maybe even the moment I left bed this morning. Bloody hell, I've been because of the sudden letter for all I know. I care less at this point. All I want to give a warm bath, sleep, and wait for a dreadful day to end. Now, if only Isabel would stop babbling, then maybe this dull troubling at the side of my head would turn into a full-blown headache too.
Zach did a pretty good job with his movie, didn't he? Even though Ash said he ran into some trouble late in the filming. But I knew he had it in him. It's not hard to believe he couldn't do it. I mean, did you see his face after the credits roll? All those months worked on this, and everything's finally...
You weren't even watching.
Only the first minutes. I watched the rest of it, I swear. Besides, Ashley was the one who wouldn't stop asking questions.
Well, why do we still need to talk about this then? I liked it. Ash liked it. You liked it. Shouldn't you be telling that to Zachary in person? I'm sure he'll appreciate it better than I ever will.
I know that, but maybe there's something you want to say?
Zach had you check the scripts before he went through everything, didn't he? You also worked on it, even if it was only for a short time. maybe you want to...
Don't bother waiting for arrests. Then when I spot my car, I immediately make a quick breathing for it. Knowing her is merely attempt starting a conversation as you can feel the dead air. It plays a strange atmosphere if someone walks into. One thing, the very thing I'm not too keen to deal with present. Behind me, Isabel also changed her pace to match mine. Her soft, strange, glowing wrist uneven to catch her up. Small part of the half expected, so they trips. She does not the clumsy sort. Definitely times when she be the great person.
Becca, hey! Oh no! Wait for me!
And people wonder why I worry? They're not really completely unfound once you're already grown familiar with the habit, though right now, this is also the very end with listing everything I want to think about. Sometimes it doesn't become overbearing. Even her voice as she calls after my son, nothing more than background noise to my eardrum.
Rebecca, slow down! Your car's not going to leave without us!
The sooner we get on the road, the earlier we can get home. It's Friday, in case you don't notice.
I know what day it is, but the traffic's going to magically disappear, even if we go away right now.
I want to hear that from you. Didn't you used to complain how horrendous the traffic is back home for you?
Yeah? But that doesn't have anything to do with this, Becca.
Okay. What do you want to do then? Wait it out? Walk? I just want to go home, Isabella. If you want to stay out longer, I won't stop you. But leave me out of it. I'm not up for any other foolish excursions tonight.
I wasn't thinking about an excursion. I want to go home too. It's already late. It's just that you've been in this prickly mood since earlier. Are you really okay? Was it the cold? Or something happened in school? You want to talk about it?
Long pauses follow me to hold everything. You ask me from the very start. I'm not even moved, but I'd say my hand stopped short as I knocked my car and gripped my hand tighter. I could feel her eye boring on me, waiting, hoping patiently for any answer I'm given. He's the same exactly. They're bad liars. They're going to talk like them. If you're not careful, they often leave you. Judge what you make the truth. There's exactly someone in a voice. My lack of response pushes on my person. This time, George quiet and essentially.
Was it because of the letter?
It's a well-meaning question. I was like,
if it is, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to cause a scene. I did see something in the mansion, though. I wasn't lying about that.
Whatever you want to take this, I know I want to hear a word of it. No, I admit it, really, never. Especially when there's really a million other things else I can. It's on my tent.
And during the open house, even if there were a lot of people around, during the open house, even if there were a lot of people around, there were weird things happening. I don't know if there was anyone else noticed, but I heard things. I'm sure it wasn't because I fell down the stairs. Even before that, in the attic,
Isabella.
Yeah?
I don't let that last. Only to get myself a small window to 3 before I die one before. Between us, as much as they pay on themselves. Which not much after anything. I can only hope it's simply take me. She can't have some started or new when she does that.
This kind of conversation tonight. Look, it's been a long day. I think this cold also caught up with me, and I'm really exhausted. Can we talk about this some other time?
Legs at this point. Nothing lovely in her face just gave me a curved moment. I really don't know how to have first time today. I'm pleased they have seen something go. I've been tested to the edge of my nonsense. Even if I'm lying. If lying through my teeth, let's go with it.
Oh, alright. You should have just said so. I told you should have taken a full week off. Were you able to get the meds I brought you, though? Do you need anything? I could drop by the pharmacy for you.
Yeah, no need to fuss. A good night's sleep is all I need. I've been busy the whole day. I guess I should have listened to you and taken it easy. But we have exams to prepare for. It's one or the other, you know?
I knew it! Here I thought you were just about something. Even Ash looked a little bit worried about you.
It's fine. Let's just get home, okay? I'll make it up to you next time. Call me to lunch or wherever. Just go on right now.
Okay, but should you be driving? If you want, I can call a taxi for us. You'll hate paying the extra fees, but you'll be able to get some rest on the way home.
No, don't call a cab. I can manage driving at least. Just get in the car so we can be on our way.
I'm already opening the door and climbing into my seat before she can protest. With no other choice, she falls inside shortly. A little bit of a vaccinate. Pick up from me, this eats me later. But for now, these little falsehoods are mine to bear the hidden honor. For now, this is a better choice. Better than pretending she doesn't exist or giving her vague answer. Surely, better than harsh words and outright lasting at her. I can't find a little comfort in that. Thankfully, if there's anything left to spoke between us after we won't have to discuss his way back home, or rather we can't, because no sooner than we hit the road, his will dozes off. Despite my full moods, I still end up suppressing a laugh out the first time we briefly fill the car.
Not your mom, Isabella.
Solely inside the quiet grin, simply unlike her, so far removed from every expression anyone has for her. A few faint whispering will suddenly come from her, but otherwise, it's just us, this silence and thus the other unexpected. Still welcome will break, of course. Peace and quiet is one thing I'll rarely get with her around. Yet it's nowhere near comforting. It's merely like the air, this strange clarification, every little sound, every single movement, more playable. And with this comes an unease. An old surprise me hits. It's almost commit if there's a different situation. In my haste, I actually dislodge my phone from its seat on the dashboard when I swipe on the screen. Soon I scramble blindly for it. On the other hand, will I keep a steady eye on the road ahead? A voice crackles from the loudspeaker before I can put it back. Although the muffling heavily from the service, I recognize the person on the other line in her chipper tone.
Hello? Miss Cooper?
Oh, you're still awake. Evening. I hope I didn't disturb you or anything. I know it's a bit late. Sorry about that. I just want to check on you and Isabella. That girl's still not answering her mobile. Were you able to meet up with her?
Yes. She's with me. We're on our way home.
Hello? What was that again? I can't hear you properly.
Sorry. Let me just fix this phone.
My hand stopped dead for a moment. I spread the device and briefly glanced, waiting. Seconds pass. Nothing happens though. Frankly, I'm not sure what I'm expecting, but the line from the phone guard.
Miss Cooper?
Yes, still here.
Did you say something?
Just that I didn't get the last part. What were you saying again?
No, I thought you... Never mind. Must be the signal acting up. Come again?
What?
Is everything alright over there?
Certainly. Is something wrong? What wouldn't? Okay,
You seem to be busy. If this is a good time, I can just call you back some
To make a coming effort, panic right then and there. I went to help me staring a whole different story.
Miss Cooper? Rose? Hey, Rose! Are you still there?
Only a burst of static answered my hands. Maybe this is a lot entirely because of the exciting risk. It's been a whole long day, recovered from the last week out of a flu. Probably have been telling people, though perhaps if paid close attention, I've not been so common with other though. I probably have noticed earlier that it never came from my phone, but from someone right behind me. Time slows to crawl. Looking from up is a mistake. The first thing I see is a face, a glassy shade, even an inch battering, bruised and blood-dyed. Even in the darkness of the world passing the blur of the light inside, I can still make out of the wounds. Blood still oozes from it. Little trail of burns running down, its face glitter under her wrist, but its gleam of the eyes to catch mine. The quiet plea, the ominous display in them, more than the hideous features, the awful stench of gross now choking the air. And I try to I can bring myself to look away. Even if the lips comfort in a horrifying smile. Even a sharp, harsh noise pierces in the air, silence around us.
Rebecca! Huh? Car! Eyes on the road!
Against everything I've been taught, I constantly remind myself to close my eyes. It's a brief moment, a short vivid second of the muscular memory, an instant complete taking over. If I didn't allow, my hands didn't move, or my feet didn't break the bark second, I might have, Isabella, and I might have, no. I shake the note away before I lose myself into it. Right now, it's an ugly line of thought for you to venture into, not when I'm breathing and struggling. Every inch of the strength has been totally drained from my body. Most definitely not you. While Elizabeth panicked for beside me, still rings in my ears. We're alive. We're safe. That's all that matters. But it's not her face that looks to finally open my eyes. All gone. I expect a stain. They'll tell marker of copper to show me what sat not a second ago. But whoever, whatever it is, left no single trace. And though carnage, it's hard to think to gaze at the point, I take that little to remind to towards my back seat. Even then, there's none. ... Was it really something there in the first place? With how empty it is, I'm beginning to doubt it. This stupid flu again.
I need a long rest after this.
My hands fall utterly in my side, numb. The thought my grip on the wheels has gone, yet stumbling with the unexpected rush of the head. Against my ears, my heart still pounds in a rhythm, and my breathing hasn't slowed down. But the words has already righted itself without waiting for me, and little by little, second after second, as I sit here motionless, colored begins to seep back around me. Along with the sound, her voice no longer insists.
Becca! Are you okay? Answer me, will you? You're scaring me! You know what? I think we should just call a taxi since...
Can you keep it down?
Strained, hardly and complete, unconventional. But there's a heat percolating at the back of my eyes, a million trouble at my temple. I could honestly do with a little sign for now.
Keep it down? We almost crashed, Becca!
I know what happened. It was a lapse. I'm sorry.
A lapse? You call that a lapse? Becca, I really don't want to end up a mangled mess on the side of the road, or a mangled mess anywhere. All I'm asking, if the time ever comes, which I hope isn't right now, is a peaceful death. Give that one to me at least. Not that I'm asking for it, but please.
Isabella. Belle, you're overreacting. If you're so worried, why don't you drive?
Don't have a license.
I I keep telling you to get one, didn't I? For the past 5 years.
Isabel, what the hell?
Do you see why now?
I wasn't really expecting to stay here this long. I thought it'd just be for a year or two.
All of a sudden, a bad mood comes over her. Looks away, then legs never crossed the tip of my tongue. Don't allow it to, because each of them earlier the smuggled truth. Her stay has always been meaning to be something fleeting. Earn some good money, go home. It's what she tell herself during her first year here. Now, half a decent decade later, I'm not sure if she still believes that. Even if I'm not sure if she still believes it. If there's something in her reason that could change along the way, even if I'm ready at the hunch, it's one thing I've never bothered to ask. Those are hers to keep.
I'll be careful this time, I promise. Just please. Can I give this whole thing a rest for now?
She nods and that is the end of it. We spend the rest of the trip back to Sunway in the silence. Although all the overactive imagination playing tricks on the flute, the dilated mind smiled, never meaning to my eyes abandoned, though only for the brief moments. ... October. How many days have we skipped? We have skipped to one. We have skipped to the day where. Okay. It begins instantly enough. Tuesday morning arrives another day, bringing the vital clear. Even though I come to the extra helping unusual October weather, I appreciate being able to catch a glimpse of the Clark's care for lately. After going through the bounds of sickness last week, it does something to lift the mood what would otherwise be a dreary morning. Despite being mostly a creature of habit, I wind up waking aching early than usual because of it. Still, no answer that Isabel, it appears. It assumes that she's taking a day or two off because of what happened to Miss Cooper, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Oh, okay, so this is the route if Isabella is alive. One of these is if Isabella isn't alive, and the other one I don't know. The sound of the morning news drips from her unit while I'm past my way to my mailbox. Chances are around this hour she's already dressed and ready to go, probably just waiting for the next bus to arrive. I've tried following her example before, but I don't think I will be repeating that.
Really? How can anyone be up before the sun is up?
It's been a habit she'd gone from home, she said, from her kind of life she grew up in. Like clockwork, it's always been was at 4 a.m., either to help the chores or prepare her little sibling for school. It surprised me that the first time she just didn't look like someone who could. In the end, I've simply passed it off, and it's one of the main things anyone would ever use to it around her. It's not for I've simply fully understand. I'm a parent only child, we're only well off, but so far I've lived a delightful, easy life. I didn't even think about bills or food for the next day, or paying for any sibling to us on the top of my own, or supporting a sick father, medicating, and all I've worried about is my grades, and if they gain mom and dad's approval, or what having for dinner. And putting next to her, this is all a pale comparison. They look less like problems and more like a petty issue this way.
Petty issues?
I don't know how long we have been streaming, but I think for a long as well. But it's important all sound ugly heads rearing at the most inappropriate moments. And sometimes they can find the mailbox from the fancy looking letter, pretty ribbon and all. Whoever sent this has probably spent silly money on the envelope alone. Envelope and ridiculous, really. I can really imagine Isabella wrinkling her nose, and once then I'll explain about unnecessary expense and the rich people problems. I'm afraid I'm all
almost afraid to touch it myself. As if simply brushing a hand against its crisp surface enough to put an ease on it, and I put a terrible slide on the surrendering. And every case of finding it really is the first time I received one of them, most of it, not even for me. So who am I complaining? Either way, I'm not looking for a surprise cross on my face, and I flipped the envelope over to see my parents' name written on the neat script.
Nothing new then.
Their years at Academy Natural brought with a various connection people of the field, art, science, business, politics, you name it. This one gives off a much personal vibe. Letter does usually come from older students, people who have grown fond of my parents, and they turn in treat like a child on their own. I've only met a few of them. Most have moved on to become successful in their own chosen careers. The little letter are their way of expressing gratitude. It's one thing Mom and Dad are proud of, rightful, so I'm happy for them. But there are times I wish they would remember that they have a daughter there here. The real one. Not that I'm in any important now. It's not like they didn't raise me well and provide for me. They did. I would have been where I am now, or it would have been hard work. I like the dutiful child. I do everything I can give back. Even a small thing, letting her know that another meal waiting for them. The phone rings for a good minute before someone answers. Mom, her voice are warm as her mom.
Becca?
Hi, Mum. How's the conference going?
Well enough. Until your dad sprained his ankle.
Oh no, is it bad?
I'm alright. In case anyone in this family cares to listen, I'm alright. Very much alive, darling.
And there you have it. He'll be up and walking in a few weeks, don't worry. We're going to have to extend our stay here until it heals, though. Is something the matter?
Nothing big. Just that this mail arrived for you this morning.
A lie. Thankfully she didn't notice. Although I'm going to be honest, a smart part of my aren't for her to do an ass about it, but I put down an idea of almost as soon as it surfaced. It shouldn't make them fret they busy.
What does it say?
Raise your glasses, give cheers to the good times, blah blah.
Becca manners. That isn't how I taught you to read.
Sorry. You are cordially... it's an invitation, Mum, for a housewarming party. From, Hannah?
The name rings a bell, though at the moment I can't recall when or where I have been recently. It must be nothing but too important if I didn't bother committing to the memory. There's a lot of Hannahs in the world. Who knows?
Hannah.
She also wrote you a note, Mum. It says you used to be her private tutor at the Evans mansion, and that she misses you and would love to see you two again.
It's making me heart clench to read another hopefully so those words to them, the same ones I know want to tell. I want to see you too. It's been years since we've been together as a family. There's one thing I've been changed from childhood, is that Mom and Dad are still busy at their respective careers, out of the country away, and some meeting on sympathies, sometimes for months on end. It only grew more frequent when the years until I'm old enough to live on my own. It's like to think of becoming independent at such an early age. There's always been praise for me at that. At times I wish they didn't.
Evans? Oh, I remember now. Honey, it's Hannah. Hannah Evans. Remember? Bright girl, 2 years older than Becca.
Didn't she get married a few years ago? 7 now, I think. But, they grow up so fast, these kids.
Yeah, she invited us to that too. Fonte de Medici. But we missed that one because you had to present your paper in Singapore.
We did send her a note after. Still a shame we couldn't attend, though. What is it about this time?
She sent another invite for a housewarming party. Becca, when is it?
This Friday, Mum.
Oh, that's too bad. We'd love to be there, but Da's not in a condition to go walking around. I guess we'd have to decline again. I really miss that girl.
I could go in your place.
Let's step without thinking. Personally, I've been fond of the gathering, regardless of how simply people make it seem. But if there's one thing I hate hearing, that disappointing note is Mom's voice always rang first. Whether it's a diss about me or something, the other thing doesn't matter.
Are you sure? Don't you have work this Friday?
The event will be in the evening, Mum. It shouldn't take anything away from my schedule.
Schedule?
It's all right. The invite's for 2 people. I can bring someone with me so things don't get boring.
I see. Maybe you can also invite Ashton?
Oh, God, no.
Mum, that's a sure no from him. He hates attending parties. But I'll see what I can do. If not, I can always bring Isabella with me. You know her. She won't say no if there's food involved.
Okay, if it's not going to be a big problem for you, I don't see why not. We owe you this one, darling.
No problem, Mum. I'll even say hi to Hannah for you.
Please do. And let her know we'd love to see her once we're back in the city. Leave her our number or something.
I will.
But you know, the 2 of you would have become really good friends. Don't you remember? You met with her once. If my memory serves me right, you were 12 then?
This too, I can't recall. It's probably one of those meetings where they only talk a bit before going our ways. If she didn't leave an impression, I'm pretty sure I would have written about it somewhere, or I'd recognize her name. As it is, the only few people I remember clearly from this time in my life is Ashton and Mandy. Who's Mandy? Just to some extent. Mom must sense my confusing because of the laugh.
Don't push yourself too hard, darling. Really? It felt like having 2 daughters back then. Sometimes I wish they didn't send her away to boarding school. But, well, you know how often that goes with them. Still, try talking to her while you're there.
Oh, we'll see. I'll let you know what happens after.
I'm looking forward to it, darling. Take care of yourself.
Will do. You too, Mum. Bye. Tell Dar to be careful next time.
She chuckles then. Hardly one tenders and always light in my ears. She may be a stern teacher, but one of the parts I love the most. The sound of still echoes in their call comes to an abrupt end, bringing the memory of so many years ago, when a life responsible to accomplish adulthood are things far from our minds. Giving it a chance, I would love to go back to those. I don't dwell on those, shaking all away almost soon as the memory forms a clear picture in my head. I've always wondered how Isabella can easily pretend everything normal over a phone call, then bows back to her usual self immediately after. I've seen it plenty of times. For me, it's just a dream whatever energy I have, and with the whole day of teaching still ahead of me, I can't afford to look exhausted in front of my students. Even for a wee bit, it's never a good example to set. So with another sigh, I put everything back to my mind and tread back to my room. The rest of my day waits. ... 15 minutes later, I'm heading back out, dressing for the day, my car keys in my hand. Ordinarily, I don't stop for anything. There's nothing to be needed to. There's a beauty of the apartment complex. It's quiet and everything keeps them to themselves. No, unless playlist in the morning, no need to wear a smile on our face, letting other people are nosy enough to ask. Today, however, the morning broadcast still plays from Isabella's room. My brain's pace slows to stop and finally forms in my face.
She hasn't left.
Of course, this isn't unusual. Many times I've left early that she did, like last Friday before their open house. But those days are a few far between. It only happens in the district for the last part of the might have been a bit of an exaggeration. However, what happens the last few days, maybe today is once. The death of the friend isn't something anyone can brush off, and for someone like Isabella, Isabella's the kind who will get attached to people easily. With Zachary, Ashton, and I were the case. I can't imagine what she might go through right now, especially when a woman is someone who owns a lot despite their training being brief. I've given her a space. Last night's a different, but perhaps today might have been a proper day to check on her.
Oh, whatever. I've still got time anyway.
Oh, shit. Oh! 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 Oh, genius! Okay, so why I'm saying like, oh, so much is that this is the route where Isabella's alive. One of the routes is if Isabella was hit by the car, or one of the other deaths, and the other death if she stays in her apartment. I'm telling you spoilers, but that is, if you look here back, if you look back, endings, decline the offer, so you say stay at home, decline the offer, you stay in your room. So if you stay in your room and you die, Rebecca will see it and will freak out. My God. The light step, I move closer to her door, already poisoned to the knock. Still, I don't do it until I hear her action.
Isabella? Belle? Are you in there?
No answer. After I finally knock, Light is to serve her in her case. She's sleeping and merely left telling her run last night. Never how she's happened to ever. Waste of electricity and all.
I just want to check on you before I leave. Is that okay? Are you going to work today? Belle?
Still nothing.
I'm about to leave. If you want, I can drop you off.
Another round of nothing. Now I'm fishing, copying my keys off her back and unlocking the door. She lent me years ago, after I complained about the mess and offer my hand in cleaning it up. Though my shit was completely unnecessary back then, after all I could always knock. Never did bother taking them from me, always returning it for turning away from convenience, whether I insisted. And at one point I simply stopped trying to hand it back to her.
Isabella? I'm coming in, all right?
Waiting for her answer, I pushed the door, opening the step aside. Unit's still a mess. Instant noodle cups on the table, piles of clothes on the side, paper about everywhere, an unkept bed, among the other things. This is much is given, will always be given. I've been several times already and still wondering how she can function like a human being with the first place in the States. However, this is neither here nor there. I'm not sure when I'm expecting, with certain not finding the empty flat. Granted, I will be left far earlier than usual, but she never ever left without thinking that she's unplugged everything. That's something she doesn't forget to do. It doesn't help, but her bathroom appears unused this morning. Another unhabit only means she hasn't been here since last night, perhaps even since the morning after Miss Cooper's death. Either idea doesn't sit well with me, with the news have been hearing lately.
The authorities are still trying to find the cause of death for all the victims. Early investigation revealed most of them were employed under Briar Realty Corporation at the time of death. Meanwhile, BRC has refused to comment on this.
Gathering my wits, I immediately place a call in her phone. It rings for a good minute, it's uncovered in itself, but when another minute goes by without any answering, well, I'm not a woman prone to panic, suddenly bout of temper, maybe with panic, despite I may have sound when I'm speaking. But now I really need to, I feel like the first thing I'm gonna do if I'm gonna play a new playthrough of the game where I'm gonna kill off characters, etc., I am definitely gonna let Isabella die in the apartment and let Rebecca witness it, because that would be interesting to see for me. And then with ultimate goes straight into her voicemail and sounded only that. A pause don't last long though. Next moment my finger already moved across the screen and searched for people who might be able to help. It's Ashton number. I found first and dial. Call it habit, but even Isabella thinks he's dependable when his situation calls despite him much giving another grief that always going about him. There's Zachary around this hour. He's probably still sleeping if he has freelancing work. It's very likely he's just got himself in a bed. He's the last person I want to bother with anything. The wait doesn't take too long. As soon as I click, the answering voice echoes through the receiver, though still heavy with sleeping. He never did grow fond of the morning.
Becca? Christ, what time is it? What's up?
Not you, apparently.
Good one. Did you call us early just to make that joke? I'm going back to sleep.
No, Ash, hold on. This is important.
Becca, stakeout last night. Make this quick. I've still got a few hours before the chief bothers me.
Sorry, I'll let you go back to sleep after. It's just that... Wait, you were on a stakeout last night?
Did I say that? Shit. Forget I said that. Forget I said anything. Forget we had this conversation.
So, you have no idea?
About what? About what? I also have no idea why we're talking so early in the morning, so there's that.
No, will you stop sleep talking or whatever for a second? Belle didn't come home last night. She's gone.
Who?
Isabella!
Instead of an answer, a brief pause comes after, following by something bluntly heavily hitting the heart surface and string of the radical colorful curse over him. The moments I keep myself to remember fondly the next day. They aren't the way they are. When he picks up again, there's no trace of sleeping left in his voice.
Say that again, from the top.
Isabella's gone, Ash. She didn't come home last night. Her flat's empty. She left her telly running. You know she doesn't do that.
Okay, Becca, stop. Calm down first. You're starting to panic.
I'm not.
You are. Breathe. One person's not going to simply disappear like that. This is Isabella we're talking about. Did you try calling her?
What did you think is the first thing I did? She's not picking up. It went to her voicemail.
How about Zach? Did you check with him?
Not yet. I didn't want to bother him. You know he has trouble sleeping and all that.
All right, I'll go ask Zach. I'll call you back.
No, wait!
Before I had uttered a single word of a protest, but the first time I since entered this room, tension has gone from me to other than a breathing at ease. Now I'm seriously interested to see what the fuck will happen if you chose to kill off Isabella in her room. The cricket sinks down over side through the telly still blares the same. I think I'm gonna first do kill every character off.com. The same under the news and the surrounding by the clutter. The same, I feel strangely calm to hear without worry nagging at me. Okay, so but what I mean with like killing off characters, it means I'm just gonna go skip, I'm gonna go fast forward like between conversations. So I use the double thing there in like the right corner, the left, you know, to like speed forward to go to choices. Like, I think you don't really need to read the dialogue again, because we have already been through it mostly, and I'll probably go over it with the stuff we haven't done yet, and we'll also have a playthrough where every character will live no matter the situation, but that will take a while seeing I have to figure out how to do that first, even if I have to look up how to save everyone, but then do the opposite by killing everyone off. I have to apologize to Zachary later for sending Ash this way too early, but for now I rely on letting a wrong choice. It never will be. There's something I won't ever doubt in him, much like his promise. To his work, he calls back only a few minutes later after the last one has come.
She's with Zach.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. She could have at least sent a message last night.
What are you, her mother?
It's one of the things I've heard from Isabella, but from Ashley?
I don't want to hear anything like that from you.
I'm serious. You've got to stop treating her like she's one of your students, Becca. You don't have to keep tabs on her every time. Last I checked, she's only 3 years younger than the two of us. That's almost a decade gap from those kids you're teaching, you know.
Says the person who keeps calling her Scaredy Cat.
That's not related at all. Anyway, I'll go check how she's doing. Don't stress yourself out. You go ahead to work.
Wait, you? Don't you have a precinct to be at? Whatever happened to not treating her like one of my students? Because if anyone's going to ask me, I think you're doing the same thing.
Zach said it's an emergency. Something happened last night.
Emergency?
He didn't put it in those exact same words, but it sounded like it.
Ash, what really happened? Is Isabella fine?
She's alright. She's safe. Zach let her stay the night after she... Look, okay. Z-Man wasn't clear about it, but let me handle this. I'll check on her. I'll bring her home.
It sounds like a lie if I've heard one. But the sort of thing is another thing of on Fred, and I'm not sure whether I would be happy he cares that much to that. There should have been a need between there is. We grown up together, didn't we? We know I'm capable at least of hearing out the truth without it growling at me the rest of the day. He knows me better than that. I know him better than that. Frankly, there's plenty of other things to say about this. But despite all, after all, I went through it all with things, how moving at the moment, only one thing occurred to me. Okay, I recognize his concern from what it is. It's not the only thing for me to wait. Be honest. That is what I love about him. Also, I didn't really choose what to do, but it was really a simple area, a choice. I can handle it. It sounds more aggressive, so it would maybe give Ashton more of a disappointing feeling. As much as I love to take care of the hands, be only selfish to insist, considering he knows of my other commitments. To do so feel like I'm trampling on the kindness of self and offering to anyone.
Sorry for putting you up to this.
Nah, don't mention it. You've got other things you need to worry about. Take care of those first. This is a small thing.
I still owe you one.
Oh, I can name a few things you can do about that. You know, there's this ice cream shop that opened near the movie house. I could use...
Okay, let's stop right there. That's enough. On second thought, maybe I'll just think about it some other time.
Harsh.
Both laughed though. They sound lighter and more comfortable. Like the old days where 20-year-old is the bottom of the list we worry about. This we found the commitment grounds. We may not agree at a lot of things, but we may see the way others do. Thus that may take is somewhere we learned to get used to be over the years. But it's like this, the confidence is him, is the least I can offer at this
Really?
time.
Thanks for this, Ash.
I'll let you know what happened afterwards, I promise. I'll call you later. You have a good day. Bye.
I admit to wait comfort enough. You can blend it like this. So many unknown varieties that may work to left uneasy. Maybe simple that all open because of this. I'm more inclined to think that exaggerated the other parts. If it's from Zachary or Ashton, I don't know. In the end, all I can do is wait, go about my day, and hope for the best. Before leaving, I spare about one last glance, deservedly quiet now without her in it. I'll go answer from her later. For now, my concerns are best left here. The rest of the day slips by a blur. Despite my efforts to keeping this morning evening from surfacing in my mind, it stings. In a way, everything is simply feel like a reminder. Every conversation, regardless of how casual every topic, no matter how mundane it seems. I blame the news entirely for this. Really what happened was quite a few interest stories to everyone's attention, mostly superstitious talk of death. When the locals talk about death here, when someone can certainly hell count on someone who brings it up the mansion Isabella sold not a few weeks ago. Even my own students won't stop yabbing about it. I think it's even worse than when it was put back up the markets. Now there are a few more stories. If there is a world reminding of me what matter, or simply because the atmosphere around this place, the years call from it, I'd rather take the latter. At least I can be assured people who forget about the favor of another set of holidays after. Nevertheless, I may be a painful thing to admit, but listening to them is a pleasant distraction while waiting for Ashton's call. I hope he didn't forget school day is about to end soon.
No, that's got nothing with what I heard.
He always hears stuff. I'm not sure if they have even real. Do some of them don't work correctly? something don't work. What the fuck?
No, really. Rowan knows about it. He used to be in the same class with them.
I can hear you from back here, you know.
Whatever, Rowan. Anyway, the story goes like this. There were 3 of them. They entered the mansion on a dare, and they were all never seen again.
The videotape. But that were 4.
No one knows what happened to them. Up to this day. Scary shit, man.
Cock and bull story. Calling it now.
No, you don't get it. Why don't you ask Miss Gales then? Better yet, why don't you go inside the place? I'm betting my allowance you can't do it.
They're talking immediately halts when I look up. All of a sudden, pretending to engross their kind of 3D. Still a word that could stop them nonetheless if needed. Creativity is imaginative for the stories and one thing, but regardless, these would come direct before anything potentially tragic came from.
Back to your worksheets, everyone. And I don't want to hear any talk of dares or going inside that mansion. It's private property now. You'd all better stay away from it before...
At the noise, the whole thing of the silent, you can almost hear the pin drop. The look of his face would made a funny picture, but that's irrelevant at the moment. If that is the student lured around someone going to be in trouble.
I'll be back. If you're done, you can leave your worksheets on my desk. Keep the noise to a minimum while I'm gone, okay?
I could sense there's eyes on me as I walk out the door. I'm not a kind of intimidation, a bit unnerving with a more agreeable feeling of being watched than during the past few days. Class is still in session of most of the rooms. In a few hours, the final bell rings. However, this place will once again be filled with busy chatters, footfallers, and everyday cycles in itself. But at the moment, it lets the silence guide me, my ears focusing on the whatever sound there's more whistling, resistant clinging of the metal. A good minute passes, where potentially is only step echoes through the halls, and another. ... I'm about to turn around when the sound of the hall, my stoops, little muffling and frequent by grown louder by the involved. In the hallway devoted of people, if I do put a stop to it sooner, I'll start to disturb the other class still going on. Looking for it doesn't take too long. All I do is follow the racket and slowly I'm standing in front of a non-scripted row of uncommitted lockers. What the fuck? You gotta be kidding me. You gotta choose about three lockers. From inside one of them sitting in the middle comes the noise annoyingly disturbing in the fireplace. Maybe if you pick... Oh, okay, so if you pick the other ones, this won't happen. Jesus. Leaning forward, I try to glimpse through the horizon slit of what caused me, but the light of only darkness greets me with another round of clinging, louder than previous one, more desperate. I've heard stories before of one school, a few calls who had to deal with once or twice, although personally I've never encountered one myself. And I can't only thank the heavens I haven't gotten yet. But
if this is another kid, some other student stuffed in a locker.
The huff, I straightened up the study and briefly frowned and thought handle ends. Once it stopped, really replaced by a muffling sound of a mobile ringing. A few doors of the ramp before taking my attention anyway. A second, another. There's nothing responsive. Voice pull out my mobile. Faced me. Another out of line, utterly cheerful in light morning matter. Or maybe because I'm expecting some grave or serious news from him. Instead I got this.
Hey, Becca!
Well, you sound happy.
I do? My voice still sounds the same to me.
There's only two things I've come reason that tone sweet has gotten good lead of the case. From the sound of it, I'm going to assume it's formed since I'm lately dedicated to running inside of his head. Never been the third one I've never yet heard ever yet. It can only be one or two things.
Ignore that. How's Isabella?
Drove her home a few minutes ago. I think she's sleeping now. Sorry this took a while. Z-Man gave us the puppy eyes after we tried to leave. Had some food prepared for us, apparently. We didn't have the heart to say no.
That's all right. Is she okay now?
I'm not really sure. She didn't say anything to Zach, but she mentioned a plan to take a few days off from work. It was a passing comment before I left her, so I didn't get to ask.
Must be because of Rose's death.
Could be. It doesn't seem like it from Zach's story, though. He said she was shaking when she got there.
Shaking?
The words trigger a memory. From 3 days ago, on the way home, she was a little treated after she sold the mansion. I didn't think she had much time, but one night it scared me. There was a look on her face, how she sounded like when she suddenly screamed.
Becca? Still there?
Yeah, I just remembered something. Sorry, don't mind me.
Look, if you can talk to her, get the story out of her. That would be great. She wouldn't talk to Zach or me even when I tried. Maybe she'll speak up if it's you?
I'll give it a go, but I can't promise anything, okay? You know how stubborn she can get. But thanks for letting me know about this. If you want, I can get you that ice cream thing you mentioned tonight. As thanks. Just as thanks for all the trouble I've caused today.
Believe me, I'd love to take you up on that offer, but I've got something on my schedule this evening. Maybe some other time? Thanks a lot, Becca.
There's a short pause before it cuts off. And I'm alone with my thoughts. Or rather than an answer, I'll look up with a question more than the other. We plan to giving a break anytime soon. But this problem I tackle later. Right now, I got students who need to be taught foolish of airdropping. So they open the door, smoothing laughter from inside the car.
All right, enough eavesdropping. All of you, back to your seats.
Is that your boyfriend, Miss Gale?
None of your business.
He totally is. A gravel shovel font follows the comments. There's a ritual prepared from tip of my tongue. I drop every pretend of letting those argument with teenage sometimes bothering at all. Some kids though, rough around the edge, maybe, but still my kids. Shaking my head, I head back to the classroom with a smile, but not before taking a glance at the lockers again. It hasn't made a sound since.
Must be the wind.
Without another look, I leave it alone. Ooh. Dot dot dot. Ooh. Okay, that there's gonna be a QAT thing I think in here also again. Jesus. All in the ends. Wait, how far? We're about. I think we're about like what? Maybe 20% done. Yeah, we're about 20% done. Of like the whole chapter. You know, the entire school ended without a hitch. It could have been gone better, mind you. It'd been exams nearing getting out of work before the sunset, like been far doomed for now. At least there's over the holidays to look forward to. There are times when it's simply taking I can get time being.
Nothing wrong with that.
All I'm hoping is to continue until the whole day ends. There's still the promise I made to Aston, and frankly, the idea alone doesn't sound good. If Isabel doesn't talk to them, what makes them think to talk to me? It's not like there's Arthur is there. Just because I can handle Isabel's childish tendency doesn't mean I can't do it all.
Really, those two give me too much credit.
Nevertheless, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, if only because I'm worried about her, and both Zachary and Ashton seems to be deemed it's important that someone gets the story out of her. Here's to hoping that's enough to go about with the letter again. I understand if she's feeling a bit stressed lately, but keeping that story going on for more than weeks is bound to get tiring at one point. Seriously, I merely don't want this to end in another argument. God willing, the cafe special would help smoothing things out. After all, it's been a food for her. Or money. Mostly food. At this hour, this cafe is usually filled with a brim of people. There's another reason I rarely even go here during the evening. It's simply too much to hassle to prepare food ourselves and comfort at home. It really hasn't been much to eat out lately. With life going on a busy street, no time for long lines, better spend that doing something productive. Yes.
Lucky there isn't one tonight.
Only a few people are around the counter. 4 of them, in fact, in a 16 and teenager boy busy in his phone. Wolf and Archie just waiting to serve their foods. The other 2 were pushed. Julie being mad and Charlie. I immediately recognized his cat and parents have it yet. If anything, starting to linger in the memory. Those dress really well. Obviously, I haven't seen him in these parts before. Someone gave me even so, someone familiar in him because I've seen him before. I expect the question of how he is supposed to be. Portugal easily takes a liking to getting buys or sweets, so if his both words are sometimes surprising. While he doesn't look particularly truthful, that's your mom basically is source enough that I found a very favorite order. That's also a huge.
2 evening special takeout.
Very punching. Okay, so this is about having one of them, if Isabella's alive, she asks for 2, but if Isabella's not alive, she asks for 1. Very punched before I can even finish saying like the word alive is really good to do saying about that. He knows Isabella and I long enough drop by here and always noticeable because I'm buying dinner for 2 of us. It really visits her alone. You're alone if I can help it, but Isabel can sometimes be a bad influence. He gives me a small smile before leaving her hair while I face my walls.
Look, you little ankle biter. If I buy you the biggest parfait they have, will you please behave? I would just like 10 minutes of peace and quiet.
You said you'll get me some bread pudding this time.
Yeah, well, darling, they said they ran out of it. Just pick another one so we can be on our way.
That parfait doesn't look as cute as the one Mama bought me.
Parfait is just ice cream, sweetheart. It'll melt no matter how dainty it appears. In the end, it'll all look like an ugly puddle. Now come on, just pick one. It could even be the most expensive one on that list. I don't give a shit. I don't care. What I would give for someone to buy you off my hands right now.
What? My whole attention is spent on reputation. Trouble was looking at something particularly fun, especially when Bondas assumes it, but you can't really trust a stranger these days. None around, and the whole guy seems to be noticing his words behind her, very suspicious words. Still, I don't move, and yet, my hands are already shaking. My wallet is in the book I'm carrying. Our bond is such a great color in her. But I might. I've lost the chance to try it anyway so far. Today could be the day.
But you promised.
Look, if you don't want a parfait, how about a Bonifay pie? I'm sure it'll taste just as good as any other bread pudding. I'll even buy you the entire tray. How does that sound?
That's not what you said before.
Well, sweetheart, adults change their minds sometimes.
You said if I come with you, you'll buy me a bread pudding, and I did, and now you won't keep your promise. I want to go home. I miss Mama.
No, darling, if I remember correctly, and I have a good memory, honey. What I said was, if you come quietly with me, I might buy you one. The quiet part didn't happen. Though now that I'm sober, I think this is a bad idea. And I should just ship you someplace else for that peace and quiet.
That's it. No hesitation. Reach. Slamming her further.
Ow!
Falling by instant crouch down, handing mustard and the student's steak. Sorry for him. I mean, hasn't anyone seen take a
Get behind me, Kylie!
Miss Pink!
It's amusing how fast the expression changed from the pounding one earlier to something he had utterly delighted upon seeing him. Finally, Luke is getting hurt and deserves it for once. Yay! There's no point of flagellation, not even quizzing, because as soon as the man's trained, I'm ready for my favorite newfound weapon for him another hit. Expect this time you're ready before I can land another one. His hand shoots up, catch my wrist in the foreholds. He looks upon his...
Bloody hell, woman! What's your problem?
To say he's pissed wouldn't be complete understatement. I have been weak while I sort of probably count on the shit grounds, but it simply isn't how it rolls. If you think it can scare me off with police in here just because I'm a woman or whatever, his reason maybe is another thing I'm coming from. So instead I return to him and sing a tissue and sing.
What's my problem? You're the one who has a problem here. Rotten bowbags like you don't deserve the freedom to run this town. What are you doing to this girl?
And why is that any of your business, pray tell?
Oh, it's my business if I make it to be. Now, release me or I'll call the police.
You think that scares me, Daisy?
I have a name, you sleazy douchebag.
Oh, I'm sure.
His grip on my hand like that I attempt to shake it off. His tone may be dripping with the anger. I think it's only close, so give me a minute. Angered, the gleams in his eyes send all the Kevin Kip out of it. Bringing people up, giving me a nerve, invading their personal space. He knows exactly with what bunch to push. The nerve of his own person, the nerve of archhole. If you think I'm gonna give a girl a please, you might as well just kiss your sorry behinds. Ooh, shut for hell. Better.
Mister, you have until the count of 5 to let me go and step out of my personal space.
What happened if I...
Let me go, you uncouth lout!
I'm gonna do a shout for help.
Or else what?
Is that it's so long? Yeah, we came in, but we can't find that person to live it. It's something even ring the bell. And it's literally no, say that is the package of maybe what out. And that's really just like there's supposed to remain. Not saying like, oh, but it's there, I'm going to go and what hell? God damn it. Such
I'll scream!
Should have done that. Right.
the guy of this man. Answer right now if you can.
Nice try, lady. Why don't you drop the book first? You could kill people with that, you know.
Fat chance.
Oh no, that attitude won't do, Daisy. Here, let's try that again, like the proper adults we both are. Drop the bloody fucking book.
And then what? If you're assuming I'm...
Then we'll have a nice conversation over a cuppa. Establish why you're attacking a poor, innocent stranger with a deadly weapon. And maybe even an apology or two for the offended party afterwards. I'm the offended party here, by the way. My brain hasn't returned to its rightful place yet, in case you're wondering.
Innocent! Don't play dumb! I heard what you were trying to do with that girl. Just because she isn't my student yet doesn't mean I don't have a role in protecting that child's innocence.
Protecting the what of who? Why would you... Oh, no.
In a span of seconds, the fate changes faster than any of the capable of. From the pure confusion to suddenly realizing before finally deciding a face of utter mother thing, he quickly drops on the head afterwards, just like he hasn't holding the hot object, has realized his hands all along. He's far from a decent person. He's actually might make good money doing comedy. The look on his face, he started babbling with his excuse and almost priced.
No, this kid's... Alright, lady, look, it's all a misunderstanding.
My tongue can flutter with one I know.
Right. Somebody help me!
He placed a hand on my mouth before I spun my wrist. Felt my chin stopping him, smothering, keeping his direct hand with me. But even if the nail deeper into my wrist, I can't appear to have any intention of letting him go. Being loud works, however. As soon as the attendant practically ever conceded in a small attempt into us, I shoot each of them an imploring look, hoping they would have a sense of help. It was fast enough to flash them all in embarrassed.
Haha! This lady's having such a bad day! Poor girl's just been through so much today! Nothing to see here. Go on with your dinner.
Oh, no. Okay, now I'm sick and tired of this shit. Now I'm sick and tired of just say screaming help. How about I fucking hit him again? Okay, now, nah, no, I don't like this, he fucking deserves it. I don't care if his relationship starts with him.
Mister, you have until the count of 5 to let me go and step out of my personal space.
A fair warning. Fair that I can have all be kind, already being consistent. If he doesn't live, well, have much responsibility will happen next to him.
Or else what? Such vulgar words coming out of that pretty mouth. A gorgeous flower like you shouldn't even be saying.
Don't say I didn't warn you, Bowbag.
Love that intensity, Daisy. FYI, I like feisty in a woman. It gives them this certain charm. Why don't you?
5.
Second of silence. Without any proof of my legs moving, a full motion. It's a powerful, well-knocked on net. Pain. I could see his tears from the corner of his eyes too. He emerged sight, not even arousing from me. Been gentler if he's such dirty. Little pricks of ego too big of his heads. Too bad. Shows I him prop. No, part of praying he doesn't breathe after this. We have no needs for in these words.
You mad woman!
I warned you, you ass!
Why this is harassment, I'm telling you! Harassment!
Then why don't you tell that to the police once they get here,
You despicable! Whatever you're assuming I am, I'll have you know it's all in your head. None of it's true. You best have that pretty brain of yours checked before that gets worse. What is wrong with you? Is this the face of someone who'd do anything suspicious?
Oh? You don't think a stranger luring an innocent child with promises of sweets before whisking them away from their parents doesn't warrant any suspicion? You have a very funny definition of suspicious, asshole. Maybe you're the one who should have that head of yours checked.
The kid asked me to buy her sweets. You're the one who's suspicious here. I'll have you know, I have a wife!
That moment at least saw the truth of it. So Brains left his face with a mouth right. Sure enough, the wedding ring is here. But glaring at me. This part of me starts to feel sorry to forever horribly merits this salt. I don't understand we bring it up either. If it's mention of her alone when Matchel presents a solution of his problem. Yeah, okay, now I can see why he doesn't want children. He's not a good dad. She must truly be a remarkable woman. She can't have a dirty hag like him.
And even my wife of all people in this bloody city, has never, I'm telling you, accused me of such a scandalous thing! You crazy woman!
Married or not, you're still a sleaze. Honestly, I feel...
Miss Pink, why are you fighting with my Tio?
Whatever word still left me saying the dice of my tongue. Same thing goes for the Galees. Beside you stand Kaylee gasping at me. They're staring, looking being at her. I know her look well, pressed child though. No, she doesn't say anything further. She gasps, simply moves between us. There's an answer from my experience when she goes, it's sure means that won't leave you until they give me the answer instead of that. Lying won't do either. It dissolves into a shouting match for heaven's sakes. Did she just say Tio? Something fell straight out of my pit of something of that. But my tone was gentle. I finally addressed her, void of any awareness and my feeling of embarrassment. The fear of the latter. I got very little hunger.
Kylie, sweetie, do you know this oath?
Yeah, he's Tio Luke.
I remember my brain stops. In real line of thought, the argument I still haven't against the man by silence haze. It triggered for a few.
Tio? The one you mentioned before? The uncle? The guy Rowan wanted to impress? Or was that a dare? I'm sorry, I can't recall. Is it the one who promised he'll take Big Brother someplace cool?
Yeah, the one and the same! Don't you know who he is?
Sure, I don't know. Nothing said it really come out of my mouth.
He's my Tio Luke! Gazillionaire extraordinaire, am I? No, the fairy godfather!
He's your godfather. That's nice.
The one and only. Did I get that right, Tio?
More than right, sweetheart. I'm sure Miss Pink here understood everything you said quite perfectly.
Out of the stomach part, he shot straight up, staying there. Well, Luke doesn't deserve any praise for this. He fucking is a fucking rat. He fucking, what the fuck was that about, you know? He deserves the hits no matter what. I'm not gonna change it, because I fucking feel sick and tired of Luke. I hope he dies in this as soon as he can. Rid of the cheek coloring my face and almost the shade of my eyes. From the earth was my whole here and now. His eyes are on me. I can feel them cheering, mocking. Can't even bring myself looking at him. What's in their amusement? I doubt it. He's probably having time of his life right now. But I know I can't hear the sneer of his tone along the talks. He's a smug grin on my... which I may or may not want to punch off his face prison, just the hell of it. But damage control. I'm just gonna apologize to him. Ha! He goes lower, fuck yeah! He fucking deserves shit. He fucking deserves to die. An apology is the most inappropriate thing to say, but no matter how much I will do to myself, my own body refused to budge, my own mouth refused to make. Yeah, no apology for the arsehole, not to someone who ain't got too big of a head. I'm gonna eat my words for the sake of stroking the damn ego. That's the reason of him to gluten. However, I don't know the explanation.
Don't worry, Kylie. I'm not fighting with your Tio.
Sounds really weird.
This is just a discussion. A very serious discussion between a very mature adult and one that's not.
Really? But I've never seen Tio angry before.
It's because he's losing the argument. But don't ever follow his example, Kylie. You should always learn to be patient, even if things aren't going your way, okay?
Oh sure, a discussion. And it involves hitting random strangers you meet at a cafe with a book. A hardbound book. Mind you, the little me hasn't recovered yet. If my future generation never survives from this, we are going to have more than words, woman!
I don't know how to call her. Just with my hands. I said it from a child. You know what? Most importantly, how to become a god for her. Who allows it? Maybe I should talk to Mrs. Susan about it. Or he's not a good influence for her children.
Language! How can you use such crude words in front of her? Your goddaughter can hear you, for heaven's sake.
Oh, and you didn't. If I remember everything correctly, you called me a rotten bird.
So you're going to repeat it in front of her, just to make a point? What, are you 5? Even 5-year-olds are more sensible than you.
Even Isabella, I can say so much more certain.
Even 5-year-olds are more sensible than you.
See what I mean?
Are you fighting again?
Oh, no. Like I said, we were just having a discussion. We're actually done now. But you need to promise Miss Pink you will never grow up like this guy. Good kids don't do what he's doing.
But I like Tio.
And I'm quite sure Tio likes you too. But liking people is different. Just because you like him doesn't mean you have to be like him. There are better role models for you aside from him.
Like you?
Not exactly what I'm trying to get at. But if that's what you want, I don't see why not.
Okay, I want to be like Miss Pink someday. I want to be a teacher. And I promise I won't be like Tio, even if he's a gazillionaire.
Wow, turning my own goddaughter against me. How mature of you, Miss Pink.
This don't makes me pause. For the first time since he talked, he looks at me. Maybe something flashed behind his eyes, something close to what falling dismay. I can't be sure. It's passed as soon as it appears. What about the doubt? Doesn't he actually like having Kylie around? It seemed like this would get go. Smile, judging anything, but maybe.
Don't worry, Tio. If you buy me bread pudding tonight, I'll like you again.
Aw, if that's all it takes, consider it done, sweetheart. We might have to find another place to buy it from, though. Somewhere safe, where a random crazy woman isn't going to attack us out of the blue. Let's go.
Okay. Bye, Miss Pink. I still like you, just not more than Tio anymore. See you.
Already pulling into the exit before I could protest on it. I like anything substantive further. Maybe the man looked someone hateful, maybe to the point of seeing him as eyes bearing child. Like, think about it, admires him so much. Maybe there's still something agreeable in him. Only Kylie sees. Gal winks at me before they both disappear behind the door, so maybe not. However, there's no moment to ponder about it. Seconds later, the guy in the car waves me over the hand as soon as I've paid. He offers me another smile before I leave. Normally, I return it simply for the sake of returning. I don't all with a lot of happening more commonly. Time being, I do so freely. After encountering a scene would cause some scene of friendly thing excited to me, although a person I barely know on a personal level, despite bearing no promise of the better days. I but little can for it with me and stepping out to the night. He fucking deserved it, you know. I don't fucking care that I made some kind of huge mistake or something. I fucking disgustingly hated what Luke did. He's a fucking jerk to everyone. A clouded night greeted me when I walk out to the cafe. Beyond the tall buildings, a blanket of stars spread out before me. Isabella once told me the best way to view this someplace outside the city, waiting in front of noise sort of lights. She's seen it once in her mom's hometown, another time in the university used to be attending. She asked if it's possible to try out here sometime. I agreed with her at the time, if only because she appeared excited at the prospect of it. We made those little plans along with Zachary's and Ashton. Although up until now, we never got around it. Even so, I found myself enjoying this, despite being told it's only half the experience. Little though, you know, stuff you learn to appraise it when you're alone. Because at a certain time, you got to meet people who are unfortunately born into intelligent talents to ruin the mood on scene with their mere existence alone. For example, the very driver of the car fast approaches my direction. Luckily, he didn't notice me, but the fleeting moment we passed each other gives me a brief glance of the people he was. Callous in the backseat, with pupping on her hands, beside him. It must be his wife. That was not his wife. That was the fucking the ghost lady. She's been in the nearest corner. But though the night glimpse of all the bothers left her wondering what kind of person his wife is. More than that, it's only his prey in the universe. Hope he doesn't even cross path with the douche again. To have such an eventful day. Alright, this is the choice if she's alive or not alive. Both two options. With such an eventful day, anyone thinking nothing would surprise me anymore. But here I am standing to start while watching an odd scene unfold before me, relieving across my mind, first only by the confusion.
What is she doing there?
Though giving me a hope, happening this morning, the question feels a bit improper to ask directly. When the porter Isabella's here, sitting across the left in the hallway, this right room with several papers and folders scattered about it, each of them seemed to important as the next. Upon giving the scene a quickly scan, I spotted Bear Reality logo at the top menu of the pub. I think they considered it like a mess made by Fur Drake working on a crunch time. The landlady would have a few things to say about this when she finds out. I have a few things to say about myself, in fact. But something in a calm, final manner she holds herself at, rather keeping me from disturbing her with reminding. She's going through each paper with insistation. Brows are forward, lips in tight line, both hands moving in precise moments. She shifts through each sheet. When she finds something of note, she moves closer and nose almost touching whatever clothes she holds and grabs her phone to call someone.
Hello. Sorry to call you this late. There's something I just want to confirm, if that's okay. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Thanks anyway. Not that one either.
In circles, she goes through the call. After all, after the last ends, she shuffles through the pile again and dials in on her number. Is it work? I've never seen her go with own work before. She would notice by presenting moments reaching our floor. The 9 call she still appears obelisk when she have arrived. She lest outside of this, I immediately take that as a approach to interrupt.
Isabella, you know the house rules here.
My head jerks back and the concrete wall behind her thumb. No, Aguilad's still here. I allow her a moment to nurse before speaking again.
Becca, you're late!
Yeah, I ran into a little trouble at the cafe. But I brought food for the two of us, if you haven't eaten anything yet.
I sometimes see grants once and give a bag of food I'm holding, yet it doesn't reach her eyes that she didn't cheerfully clinch this time. Just a hollow tone for the sake of being polite. Ashton writes, something happens.
Yeah, maybe later. I've gotta finish this first. Just leave it here. I'll eat it once I'm done. Thanks, Becca.
You can't eat this here. You know how the landlady would react. Why are you even working outside? Your room's right there.
I know. Sorry. It just feels stuffy in my apartment right now. I'll go back inside once everything's been aired out. I promise.
That has never bothered you before.
Well, it bothers me now.
Oh my god, my Switch just died. The battery is out. Oh my god, I've never ever had my Nintendo Switch thing actually out of battery. The wow. That's so funny. Bother me now.
Oh, really? Just now? I find that hard to believe.
Yeah? Shouldn't you be happy? I mean, You've been complaining even if it's not your room. Now I know how you're feeling when it's messy, so I'm going to clean. Isn't that a good thing?
That's what it was supposed to be good news. A halo came from John.
It's a good thing, Isabella. Believe me. But you're as bad as Zachary at lying. What's really going on?
Hello there with her eyes. Surely infinite what is going on to be. Conversations possible ends with the other person angry. Again. Likes to avoid tonight at all costs. Still, I've made a promise to Ashton and Zachary. If she didn't talk to them, who else would she talk to? If she keeps this to alter herself, who knows that might happen.
Isabella, you can tell me. ... Is it about your family?
Simon went off her lips, although at least getting there.
Rose?
Her head was a little...
Come on, I know something happened. I don't know if it's because of Rose, but I know it's related to her somehow. You weren't here when I visited you. Does it have something to do with work? Office?
If I don't know her, I might miss it. She might shift then, right fist glistening, the teeth biting her lower lips in there. Fear. Tears are expecting to see her everything. Might apparently briefly before she opens it, and she finally voices out the words similarly on mouth, one after another. All of it. To the words I promised her I listened, because this is something which she's keeping to herself even from the two who most dependable I know. The fact that she chose to tell me to speak is a lot.
Becca, she was there again. Last night? In the office? Boss passed me all of Rose's Lord Glow yesterday. For the Ermengarde mansion. I had to stay late to finish them all. And then, when I was about to go home, I saw her. I saw her again. She was standing in front of me again last night, Becca. I couldn't get away. She was blocking the door. If I hadn't hidden myself, even if I made the tiniest noise, if she found me, Becca, she almost did. If she saw me under my table, I think that would have been the end of it. I'm scared. I'm so scared I won't be able to do anything.
By the end, her hands are trembling and a brief comes at the wrestling interval for a long time. The silence stretched out between us, soft fill instead, but even as soft minute down to a minute later, there's a happening hanging in the air. Not just because of her, but also from me. I have the whole matter, from my own frustration over the stupid when I used favor to grow her back on alone. She might be young, but she's no longer that young. It's time to put an end to this. She can't keep going on like this. She's still got plenty of years to live out. What is going home? Feel longer to keep her. Feared I was real. She done then. I'm more afraid for her than I imagine she would do. And her whispering imaginary monster to come. This man as she's looking at right now. There's an expectation in it, and I hope the police want to get her. She wants me to believe her this time. If it's like this, then what am I supposed to say now? She wanted to say, set her straight, but it isn't what she needs right now. Which a pound of face she gives me. We'll continue a little bit, and we'll leave it by that. I'm not sure how long, but not too long. You know, it's been already 4, so we're going almost to like what? It's 20 minutes until it's 5:30 already. Giving me though, half pushing it. I know her. Okay, we're gonna go continue until it's half, because otherwise we're gonna continue too long on. I know her. She's a stubborn, but there's a moment when she can hesitate to, times when she's more accepting of what I tell her despite clinging to disagree with it. That's talk can wait. In the meantime, hearing and listening without judging her, with criticizing her despite my own opinion.
You should have called me.
Started at me like I've grown another head. Laughter slips out before I can stop myself.
There? I can't do that! What will you do? Hit her with a book? You'll be dead before that happens. And
that isn't what I'm talking about. After you got out, you should have phoned me. You didn't have to go to Zachary's.
The corner of my mouth closed up, surrounded by genuineness. Her smile is never half-hearted, never lacked her high spirits. This, I know everything is going to be okay. Somehow. After all, she learned how to pick herself up long ago, long before we met.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I don't even remember how I ended up in Zach's place. I was in a hurry to get out of the office, and it was already late. Besides, I don't really think you'll believe me if I wake you up over something like that.
That's beside the point. True or not, there are people who will always be concerned about you. There's Zachary, but he's the first person you went to, and you didn't tell him anything. You just slept there. There's Ashton too, and me. But how do you think I'll be able to explain to your aunt or your family if you suddenly disappeared? Think about that.
Right. I'll remember that next time.
And she grins. Playful and mischievous, I presume to old Banner. It's not quite there. Still not quite her usual self, but I know we're bound to get her back soon.
Mom! I told you not to call me that.
It's an elbow to her size and atmosphere. She laughter follows the familiar story, none of the unexpected. This way to comfort I have found equal ground despite the stark differences. So for the moment I accept things there are. Afterwards a huge stretch comes before us. For Isabel, this is rare. This isn't her. Yet in this moment she fiddles with her edge of another paper near. She hugs her knees close to herself and lets pensions express the line of her strength fitting. Everything's supposed to lead out it long ago. And later the moment is broken by the sound of the door easing open and voice backing some little piece.
How many times have I told you girls not to loiter around the hallway? It's noisy. Some people here are trying to sleep. Quiet down or go do your talking inside. I'm pinning a memo to your door the next time this happens. Millennials.
Sorry, we won't do it again.
You'd better.
Go close and Isabel starts to gather a mess she made, carefully stacking them arms. How to pick them. First time I closer look at it. Fully unintentional, of course, but if I catch my attention, nevertheless refuse from making its way to my face. Why is she looking through this? I look for the explanation, but she merely ignores the question and minds taking the paper with my hands, finishing cleaning up. The last paper she puts on top is a letter. It was supposedly found in the mansion where she probably root caused her odd behavior. I shoot her a question look from that too, but all she gives me is a smile. An odd tone completely unlike her.
Becca, I'll find a way out of this. You guys don't have to worry about me. Anyways, I should go. I'll see you later.
Where are you going?
Getting myself some food. Don't wait for me.
Isabel walks away before I can stop her. Before her, I brought food for the two of us. She quickly disappeared down the inwell while I'm left standing in the bleeding hallway holding 2 bags of takeout. One of them will go uneaten tonight. Just an innocent passing though. Thus I don't dwell much as back in my room. Nor all of it the same way. Sure won't be encountered that doge again. ... First day. Do we now skip 2 days? We seriously just skipped 2 days, I guess. The brief below the passage that defended was nicely when it lasted. Whereas nicely I can get word of Isabel's whereabouts, creeping in every now and then. She hasn't shown up after last talk with hallway and dinner I've brought since I've given with different neighbors before I get spoiled. By all means, this shouldn't be anything to lose sleep over. She's gone on work trips before, usually for a day or two. This might simply be one of those. Although it's often been massage, saying exactly where, but there's a door note where she ended up the last chat with the ground.
Like an ugly premonition.
Expected she's start to settle a steady rhythm, finally worm into the back of routine. Thursday morning brings further disturbance of now called weather. The little ceremony, though, still enough to ripple through everything. In respect, I really could have seen this coming. Luxembourg is a small city, related speaking. Compared to, say, London or Glasgow, it's nothing but a tiny, massive land boosted American population is 68,000. There's a number of a lot alone there, nothing to scoff them standing the busy streets. If you pay close attention, enough attention, visitate a crosswalk or riding the subway will soon grow familiar. How unfortunate that out of that number, it has to be a Theo fucking Luke I encountered more than once.
Oh, you know, a few problems popping up here and there that the agents failed to tell us somehow. Nothing a few hired hands can't fix, of course. I would have preferred a place near the city and something that's new to save us all the trouble, but darling wife insisted. Who am I to say no?
Ah, are you kidding me?
I smiled. The court turned into a hall, spite of a small crowd of parents and staff. Students gathering choreos around Paris a day. It's not that it stands out, he is pretty remarkable at first glance, frankly. However, it's his countenance that draws people's eyes to him. The manner he carries himself convicts the will, his purpose throughout everything around him. I'm willing to make a bet he's also enjoying the attention his gamers get, especially the ones among from the women.
What an ass.
Single glance at him, I know immediately that one way or another, if we ever bump into each other again, my day will officially be ruined in some capacity. He's also exuded that air, something that makes run him over a lure that passes unfortunate accidents. With him, it's either you want to punch him or let him be yourself be charmed. There's no between. I'm glad to be honest with from the sun. At last, there's people around us. Now I'm stuck with having to face one or two.
I shouldn't have volunteered.
The times I held that sounds a good deed. I have no class left today until after lunch. I just up to stay at the teacher's lounge and work on my lessons plans, the meaning to left alone and duties head on to the challenge. A good man by care to talk anyone's ears off, so the moment opportunity arose, I jump onto it. Simply tasked to both. Just deliver the whole box of materials and a few posts for the event, maybe stay around to insist if time will allow it. If I didn't expect him to show up here, out of the frying pan into the fire. Had I known I would stay just suffered through the dupities, impious speeching about a life crisis instead. What's done is done. Going back is also out of the question. Of how unexpectedly heavy to look I'm carrying as a hug to look the truth back because I'm quiet. Can't take another second with that guy. Arrived. Fair share of dealing with teens, more or less. The same interpreters, all considered younger than him. They listened. He wants to be difficult like last time, so be it. He can be his sorry English as I'm not standing down. No choice that right himself, sucking a breathe, mustering every bit of patience I have as I step into the hall. I grit on the box down as I pull close to me and attempt to low-key air as it sort towards the room. The box is not big enough to hide my face. Even when the stuff piled on top of it all is filled, I can't just hit him with it. Still a small prayer from his head. There's even one listening out there. Please grab me enough to understand. Better yet, he doesn't know me at all. But that makes me life easier. Seriously, how hard can it be? He stands a few ways from the door, and there's plenty of people between us to use for cover. If I'm careful, I can just go ahead and steal box over and charge for getting every climb and staying longer than necessary to step since I can, easy as pie. With luck, I didn't have it exactly moments. I reached the room's threshold, someone barely towards me. She nudged my wrist before topping the sudden.
I knew it's you!
Carrying me. For trolling me, bound, sending the item stacked up into his side. Child adding weight to the wrist, pinning spots in both my hands on my waist, watching the only thing I'm able to do. The short second in between showing everything besides when I made funny stories some of the time. Coming even until another set of hands reach poster taken on the floor. Careful now, Daisy. Don't make a mess here. Body freezes. On here, his voice alone here pulls to him. Immediately bubbles up. Before my limbs are catched up with brain curtly. He moves to take the bird with my hands, giving me away to surprise and confusing. The moment the insist finally kicks and tucks the board close to me before I am fully.
What are you doing?
What does it look like? You're surprisingly slow on the uptake for someone of your profession, aren't you? Bloody, doesn't this school have people for this kind of work? So much for being a center of academic excellence.
I'm going to ignore that slight to my alma mater and my work, because that's not what I'm trying to get at. You know what? Why don't we just rephrase that to something you'll easily understand? Why exactly are you doing this?
Well, you look like you could use a bit of help. Have you seen your face while you were heaving this around?
Mister, I'm pretty sure if there's ever a look on my face, it's entirely because I saw something extremely unpleasant this morning.
Aren't you a ball of sunshine today, Daisy? Having a bad day, aren't we?
Oh, you have no idea.
I'd put it away if I were you. You might scare the children.
You don't have to worry about that. This isn't my department. I was just asked to bring these. Anyway, I can handle this myself, mister. The room's just right over there. Behind you, in fact. Now, if you could please move over and make way, it would do the whole world some good.
Keeping my voice level through miracle itself, but regardless of the polite request, he doesn't budge. This would he have said some more that I fly over the hurt, were my choice of words, only that different comparison. Surely, it shouldn't be that hard. It might have a little touch in the head. Axed by Kylie Charles and Pike.
Don't worry, Miss Pink. Tio's strong. You can leave this to him. My papa does it lots of times, but I'm not allowed to talk about it to anyone. Tio says it's
confidential, Munchkin.
That's right. Tio's smart, isn't he, Miss Pink?
I'm still a bit of a piece of shites, and I must admit, he's a goddaughter exciting himself. I smile and make my own lips. She has yet to be budged from the place, though, to be honest, I'm starting to lose some, feeling some stomach starting to wound her around.
I'm sure he is, Kylie. But I'm also sure he'll find better use for it elsewhere.
Like helping you out.
Oh, well, that's one thing, but...
You heard the kid.
No one's asking you.
You wound me, woman.
And I'm quite certain I can do more damage than that. Shall we give it a try? Again?
He pleads and stumbles a bit until he ultimately decides against something. Again, something brief. So he is afraid because he knows that I hit really hard. He's perhaps having a flashback of last time we met. He compares to be a funny regains some bearing, saying that, oh, it's nothing short of hilarious if you do it yourself.
I'll have you know that threats never work on me, Daisy. Not in a million years, not ever.
You're assuming it's a threat. How cute.
That too. I'm not scared of you. Just because you landed a hit.
Uh-huh. Do go on. Keep telling yourself that.
It was a fluke, you hear? I was caught off guard and your damn book left a dent. If I end up in a hospital because of what you did, I'm sending the chief of Luxburn Police after you, woman.
You don't say.
Just give me that bloody box.
He snaps me on my arm before a single word of process exists from my mouth and clearly disappears behind a classroom. Not to matter who brings it now, my roaring interest has already melted into amusement. He's not as bad once a figure of temporary works. It's almost similar to a child. I have to ask.
Kylie, did your Tio eat something bad before coming here? He's unusually nice today.
A far-fetched idea, knowing how the region he knows this Archel is suddenly acting like a decent human. He's quite frankly far from being. First and foremost, we didn't end our last meeting on a good note. If I were good, I avoid a very person who put the dentist on his skull. See, I put it. He's acting friendly 2 days later.
He always is! But I made him promise to be extra nice to you since you helped me so much. I think you're gonna be great friends!
I could like stomp on the argument of grown louder than a gag at it. He's the last person I ever want to be chummy with the whole city. Because he doesn't know what.
Are you sure it's not something he ate during breakfast?
I gave him some jelly babies this morning. He likes the black ones.
Oh, that's probably why he's weird. Jelly baby overdose.
He could have done a few for favors of choking on them while he's at it.
Do you want some? I've got more. I couldn't find Melody or Takako this morning, but I'm sure they'll be fine sharing some of it with you.
No, I'm not really very fond of them. I was just asking. Oh, where's your mum, by the way?
Out of town with Papa.
An unexpected pang hits me in the words. The statement of innocent enough unearthed the whole truck of memories from childhood. I don't believe that those parents are alive. I think they're just by the rights, you know. So eerily familiar. I think that is, but I don't know. Night spends eating dinner alone, a number of days coming home to an empty house growing over the passing years, and sometimes several Christmas Eve spending the relay instead of my own family. It's too late to think about it now. Remember, the adult age, it's still here, familiar though, lessened by the years now. Besides me, Katie takes a few steps back, having gotten tired of clinging to me. There's nothing my she doesn't make too affected by the fact. It makes me wonder how much it's real and how much it's there to mask the loneliness, if there's even one. What a lucky child.
Weren't they informed of career day beforehand?
Yeah, I told them all about it. Mama was looking forward to it.
And they still left?
Uh-huh. It's important business, so it can't be helped. They promised to tell me about it when they come back tomorrow, though. Papa said he'll give me a gift if I behave. I've been a good girl, right, Miss Pink?
You always are. But they asked they asked your Tio to look after you? For this?
Nope, they didn't.
No? Then how?
It was supposed to be Tia. Mama likes her better than Tio, so she asked her, but she's sick and had to visit the doctor today.
Okay, so you gotta be kidding me. So you're telling me that Kylie is the daughter of the chief inspector's wife, if I'm really correct. I think that is, because it kind of makes sense. But the color of the hair doesn't make any sense then. Seeing that, I don't know her name exactly, but she had to go to the doctor, if I'm correct. So yeah.
Oh, that's supposed to be a secret, by the way. Oh, but I think it's a bit confusing because Tio said she also went shopping.
Okay, so I think what is that Luke is, of course, cheating on Hannah to go with the other woman, and the woman already has a kid named Kylie, if I'm correct. I think. Not sure.
That's unfair. Don't you think so, Miss Pink? Mama doesn't allow me to go out when I'm sick. It's still okay, though, since Tio always buys me sweets before we go home. I'm gonna ask for a parfait today. Extra large. Don't tell Takako, okay?
Listening to her, it's easy for a picture of where Kylie has come from. You're probably a dependent child, but she made a promise. Wait, how is it? Promise of some sort. She never forgot those. She makes friends with anyone, wherever she is. Buy her a few things, and voila, you're settled. No wonder she's attached to a man. The douche probably showed her a gift whenever he can. I can't say, but if he has sentiments the same for the latter, however. It doesn't seem the type who probably does the sake of getting some peace and quiet. Whatever he wants, he's with a girl. Classic technique.
But before that, I'm gonna show him to everyone first. It's gonna be great. No one else has a gazillionaire fairy godfather. Also, when I grow up, I'm gonna be exactly like him and marry someone really handsome. Like Tia did. That way, I can be awesome too.
Someone misguided logic to someone corrects. My piece steps out of the fresh with a commit to the class behind us and ploughs into the conversation with some Breckham ass. No shiting giving despite no one asking me.
Munchkin, sweetie, trust me. You don't have to marry someone for that to happen.
I don't?
Just do your thing, darling. I'm quite sure you can do great things on your own without lugging around an extra baggage with you.
Tia married you.
Dropped the statement without any sort of prevent. When a moment in land, the douche finds himself grappling with the conversation.
Yeah, well, that's true, Munchkin, technically. But it's not the same thing.
A small frown creases the girl's eyebrows, dressing up her Tia's rather vague explanation. But either way, that Luke tends to the own child. Okay, it's familiar. It seems to seem like a great deal of the time before. Oh, Ash, he's trying to say something quite phrase. Her past set before he does moves, kneeling in front of Crowley, placing both his hands on the side of the shoulder. Kind of last word I've never used to describe the man, but he's admittedly smiles on his face and can't place it by all means for someone who is obnoxious as him. It's curious to see things to see if it's not a bit odd.
Listen here, sweetie. Tia was already a great person before she met me.
She is? But I don't see her doing anything. She's always at home.
Not always, Munchkin. Did you know she's really good at numbers?
You're good with them too. You helped me with my homework once.
Well, Tia's much better than me. She used to do maths with big numbers.
Oh, like millions?
No, gazillions. And she's really good at it. So much so that her dad let her manage anything that had to do with it. That was even before she met me, too.
Does that mean she's better than you?
Oh, leagues, Munchkin. Way better than I'll ever be.
For some reason, I don't think he's still talking about his wife, mentally processing of title phrase. In fact, has not been paying close attention. I wouldn't have noticed a change in him. A slight shift, a smile. For once, he attended to something wishful, like reminding a memory has been found, but also kept to himself. If he glanced at a tiny infinite part of the world somewhere that shifted, pain had changed, impression moved.
You know what? Why don't you ask Tia next time you have homework,
Okay, next time I'll ask her to help out.
See? No need to marry a good-for-nothing bloke.
Can I also tell her to not stay at home anymore? If Tia's good at it, I'm sure she can help you out too. And Papa. He computes a lot of numbers too. Tia can help him.
You go do that. I'm sure she'll love to hear it, Munchkin, even if it's been a while since.
Not aside from him, without missing a beat, he turns, patting around and slightly pats her shoulder, certain to end there, was right there and then. Probably before he can say another thing, he never intended to say it. A child from me.
But off you go first. I think I saw your friend run off to the other classroom. The one with the pigtails? Go say hi to her. You still have those jelly babies to give her, yes?
All right. But wait for me, okay? I've got loads more to show you. They put up my drawing on the bulletin the other day. I'm gonna take you there later. I'll be back.
She soon disappears behind a small crowd. None of them wiser than sudden change in mood around her. Luke strained as soon as she'd gone, the expression on his face growing less kind of enough for certain. Despite a chuckle still escapes me, his head quickly snaps at me, a curl glance clear to my eyes. Although it's less threatening now considering I've witnessed earlier. Funny how a person can impress or of someone can easily change with a mind deep.
Why are you laughing like that?
Don't mind me. I just saw something surprising. Don't let it bother you.
Putting it like that won't make me any less inclined to ask. What is it, woman? If this is another one of your threats, I've already told you it isn't going to work on me. That good teacher act isn't going to fool anyone.
What makes you think it has to do with you? I could have just remembered something funny. Not everything in this world revolves around you, mister.
I am not daft, Daisy. It's on your face for all the world to see. Now, say it so we can be done with this stupid talk.
I don't know, have another laugh. More than the late expression of confusion of the matter. In true, I don't know where to start. One wrong move, one wrong word, one plan.
You really think that?
It's an honest question because no matter is a long way about him. Rather, he feels entire giving us long in front of him expects and demand of it. And since someone hurt others, I don't think it much matter. Expects it doesn't allow me to throw off because of merely raising questions.
About what?
About what you told Kylie. And don't you think she's a bit too young for that kind of talk?
Kylie's 6, Daisy, not an infant who still needs help changing her nappy. At her age, she can already handle more than that. Besides, it's better to nip this whole thing at the bud. You know, before she starts thinking that a man's ego defines her self-worth. I certainly don't need someone else to define me. Why should any godchild of mine do? So, do I really think that? Yes. Yes, very much so. Why shouldn't I?
All right, I get it. I'm sorry. You just didn't seem the type to me.
If I intended to end the conversation right there and then simply go my way, I no longer have business here. Now the deputy principal's story sounds more exciting the longer I stand here. With the manner, look almost rating, I have a feeling this won't end if I say so. Though I think about it, I have to leave the second has taken box from me. Natalie doesn't get the hint.
The type. And what, pray tell, would my type be according to your standards, woman?
The sort I'd happily bury alive.
Well, would you look at what's coming out of those pretty little lips? Watch the language, Daisy. You're supposed to be teaching children. What would ever happen to this nation?
You know what I mean.
Oh, and you somehow find that tidbit funny.
A little, I admit. That sort of wisdom is the last thing I expected to come from you. I mean, look at yourself. Pampered and pompous to the last hair. You've probably never been to this side of Luxbourne until a few days ago.
Daisy, just because I'm dressed miles better than the average bloke you see every day, doesn't mean I'm incapable of thinking on your level. Actually, I'm more surprised we aren't on the same page on this. I expected better from someone with enough balls to hit a random stranger with a bloody book. In public, mind you. Someone my goddaughter looks up to, even. Guess you can't have everything in this world,
Well, of course I'm...
Oh, I get it. Running on presupposed notions, aren't we? My, what a dangerous thing to practice for a teacher.
It doesn't have anything to do with...
What is it this time, I wonder? Oh, wait, don't say it, let me guess. What do those random gossips in this bloody city usually say? Oh, right. You probably think I'd go with clingy, spoiled kind, didn't you?
What? Where does that... How did you even come to that conclusion?
Oh, don't lie to me now, Daisy. But just so we're clear, if I wanted an arm decor, I'd have gone with the first brainless munter I picked up on the streets. I have standards, you know.
I haven't even said a word. I was just asking what you thought of it.
Oh, but you were thinking about it or else you wouldn't have asked. Might as well get it out of the way,
You are impossible.
So they say. Tell me something I didn't know, Daisy.
You... I really have no idea how anyone would have a brain can put up with you. Let me speak with your wife sometime. I'd love to ask her.
Al's remarking just came out. That might have been self-proof. It should have been praised like. stands so kind of talking, it's still quite rude. Also, apologies already at my throat, but the minute I open my mouth, prepare myself to spit. Lost a moment in front of me. Turns and gazes outside, staring. Building, blocking the view of sky of thoughts. He's acting a man under the stands, however. At this moment, the morning light streaming from the window leads Taylor. Softer, less safer than Father Lefton. Might as well be looking at a different man. There's a tenant's note, his voice is fine, muttering under his breath, not intending for anyone but himself. Nevertheless, it reached my ears, and as maybe.
You're right. She deserves someone far better than me.
All that talks about self-work being something more sense than a prideful acknowledgement he pulls out of ours. It has come about because he's already been there, likely still stuck in the middle of it. Preaching about your own personal experience is easier after all. There's room for mistakes more than does of helping other minutes. What a complex man. Just when you thought you already figured him out, he does one thing and says the other. People like him are most difficult to gauge, far harder than understand, yet it might be exactly for the reason why some are so easily charmed by him. It's the mystery of the catching them if they want to find out what underneath the bravos. I won't count myself among those, yet his winning personality isn't exactly my cup of tea. But sometimes, once you get a glimpse of what beyond that, as you know, compares with the man isn't steep hill to climb. If the comfortable silence now shared tells anything, that is, perhaps this is a close friendship that can give several insults flicker around the fear shed silence between ends. There's not exactly a bad thing. He's not exactly a bad guy either, despite the awkward start we have had. Maybe it's for a reason he can't resist throwing a little comment to lift his mood before leaving him.
You know, Luke, you're not such a bad person.
Is that supposed to make me feel better? I'm touched, Daisy.
Take it how you will, but a little attitude change would help. A lot.
Oh, bollocks. Right, of course. Let me know when you're done with your lecture, ma'am.
And you can probably start by not leaving your wife out while you're having some quality time with your goddaughter. Who knows? Maybe that'll help change how the child sees her.
Where did you even get the idea I'm leaving my wife out? Have you ever even met?
No, but I did see her with you two last time.
His indifferent express is also confusing skull when I meet him matching. Today surely his memory isn't that.
What? When was this?
At the cafe, after you left. She was sitting right beside you. Kylie was at the back and you were driving.
Daisy, are you sure you haven't accidentally hit yourself with your own book? Because that damn thing's quite thick, and I'm really getting worried about you. It has only been a few days, and concussions can be dangerous. I suggest you have that checked.
Well, you asked. I just answered. It's pretty rude to make her wait like that, by the way.
How can I make her wait when she's not even with us?
What?
It was just Kylie and I that night.
Now you're just pulling my leg.
Changing the air around his face and tense. I actually stepped into another minefield. Any chat I have met part of this. I used to still surprise me, escape me. But above my worries of offending this man with my own bewilderment, I remember well enough I saw that night, yet he says something completely
Wifey was out with Kylie's mummy that night. She wasn't with us. How do you think I ended up on babysitting duty?
But in the front seat. And Kylie's...
This big!
My ears first. A hot tear steeped loose appears in the eyes around me. Looking briefly again, glancing out the shout of concern. Crashes often enough to attention. Most of the fields have been unused instead of run by anyway. It's a little group with great concern. I don't get a better handle of the situation. I have a feeling Luke will start yelling at everyone soon. Kneeling, I gently pulled it away from me, cupping her face and wiping her tears. And my mouth is drawn and Miss Potter's support.
All right, Kylie, calm down. What happened?
It's my friend.
That's a little too vague, Munchkin.
Let her speak, Luke. Who is it, Kylie? Melody? Or was it the other one?
Yeah.
Did the two of you fight?
She nodded. It clamped up afterwards, letting her sob committed the story instead of much shaking, so didn't tell me. Right behind him, Luke gave a nervous huff, shifted on his feet. It must have been even hanging crying. What a whoosh.
Sweetie, I won't be able to help you if you don't tell me what happened.
Second passed before she responded again. The tears already gone, finding muster strength to knock her cry still.
I wanted to give her the rest of the jelly babies, but she won't come out.
Where? Where is she?
In the little girl's room.
Is she still there?
I don't know.
She won't say what's wrong. I kept asking her, but she told me to go away. Career Day is going to start soon. I saw the prizes Miss Alice will give us for good. She's gonna miss it.
Is that what you told her?
Yeah, she won't listen. She won't even take the jelly babies. After I saved it for her, too. She and Luke wanted to eat the red ones, but I told him it's not for him. Miss Pink, can you talk to her? Tell her to come out, and I'm really upset with her.
To a little childish argument then. Time like I'm glad I teach teenagers mature enough to be petty scrabble. I do love being around children and won't mind having one or two playing in the future, but it takes a whole different level of patience to teach several of them. I also admire my colleagues when they take the challenge. Normally I leave this for a homeroom teacher to fix, but I can't just ignore the employment of shooting. Just another weekend to steel myself against it before I even have my own. For now, I give it in.
Okay, tell me where she is, sweetie.
Signing, I stand up and start to lead away. Luke trails quietly behind us. Even with a small distance in between, his appearance is a propel, and so none of them want to caught in the middle of the child's path. But in the end, it's all just a part of my job. I can't just shy away from it, can I? Kylie escorted me to a giant hall. At this hour, the corridors near the side are empty, save for the gentle rustling of the leaves, the twittering of the birds outside, and tapping her foot against the floor. All air stays early quiet. Not usual, though. This is a part of the building reserved for club activities at the end of the school day, with the rest of the school busy with another event with natural dessert. Come afternoon, right after class, I'll one again filled with people. For the time being, I'll focus on the toilet at the far end, heading straight for it. Luke stayed behind, hoping to wait in the end of the drama instead of obviously not wanting to deal with another person kid. Meanwhile, Kylie follows me right after, unusually silent with approaching the ladies' room. Sometimes before we made the turn from the hall, she has stopped sniffing and starts singing a tune under the breath.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady.
Perhaps she's probably calmed herself and maybe falling her friend out of the sulk. Certainly reminds me of another person. Makes me remarkable. It, however, it's part of the growing let me hear. The door slide, get it from it, the sob of the weakling, barely audible, even the kind of hush. Turns out Kelly's not said about it. Nor the situated smile from her lips.
Hello? Hello there? You're Kylie's friend, aren't you? Melody, is it? She's looking for you.
Can be so amusing sometimes. Granted, they can be excited, especially around this age, but amusing things about the overweight though. All you need to know is enough love.
Career Day's about to start, too. You'll have to come out, or you're going to be really late for it. Miss Alice won't be happy if one of her kids isn't there. I heard she brought little gifts for everyone who'll behave. Don't you want to receive one?
Of her cries, saw no sign of it, only growled louder. Not close to a wail, alarming regardless.
Are you okay?
Or when I was standing, it sounds almost like she's some kind of pain, not impossible. They did do that at times, hiding with Alice from the fear of impermanence. If it's like that, coaxing her out might be useless. If I'm also making sense why she's closing closer further from that classroom. Raising those, I started to forget for waiting towards the door calmly so I alarm her. At the same time, this distant sense of deja vu hits me. Been suspicious before behind the door, with someone crying on the other side. My colleague
my calls ignoring, like crying, growing veil. This past week, actually. Even so, I might be being in the same situation brings comforting. I'm putting all chill behind me, being on occurrence of panic. On the next break, nudge open the door. I'll have in a span of seconds. They'll make it past two steps in the room. Her cries literally stopped. Life was shoved behind me, coming into hold of the door. My heart skips beats when I turn.
Kylie? Miss Pink? Miss Pink? Why didn't you help her?
My way becomes emotionless. Catching her throat and start punching around my chest. This is kind of sure of it. Nothing about it. She speaks to the head and pressing carrier earphone from the Wi-Fi which brings up with her. Looking at that, that's the child.
Can't you hear her? She's asking for your help. Why won't you listen to her?
To me, instead of force carrying some ages, passing the village feature earlier this past so for me. That's streaming down my face just skip straight to our small Christmas grim FM is expecting each child tiny pink train names from my neck. Why do you not work around all the time? You're a bad person. You deserve to die. I can't breathe. Switch asking again, judging, mocking, taunting. Each guy's getting really shaker between your ears. Closing it. Whole body sensing. Still sending attempts on my fingers, even digits gone, big from the cold. There is everything wrong with that red. Any struggle for air, for freedom, cold wraps around my body, tracking me down. Parallel torture, silence into another bottomless abyss. On and on. Till I lose touch with myself on the world.
Help me!
Till dark flames my hands. Really not hurts. This distance is a piece of cutting.
Are you ladies done with your business here? I'll have all morning to wait for you two.
My eyes snap over and will shift and glass. I glance up, a different eyes that are greeting me.
Are you okay, Miss Pink?
Fuck. Hey, fuck! Look at that fucking stare, holy fuck. Why do people always have to make little girls so scary? I'm angry. Don't feel haste on something. It's blankets. Sir, I became aware of the surrounding myself was warm and it slipped back to me. Like a tiger nearby counted to snake at some point my numbers have gone from the covenant. It's over. Now the tension hasn't left my body. It's just it still becomes short swollen. Calic thumbs are in their hand, and unsure of what to do to an adult probably laughter.
Did you get sick? I'll call Teal, okay? Just stay here and don't move.
No need. Just leave me alone.
Teal will know how to fix you. Oh wait, okay?
Otherwise I could speak Brazilian to her, but I can't shake it off. I was right over there, twisting anticipation of what? No longer sure. Just was counter a break. Then offered to run. Crossing off, I can actually look against me when I gently press her away on the side. Browns. They both saw in my face, care not to know. Bloody hell, I don't understand what happened anymore. ... Okay, I think it's time I'm gonna leave it here. We've been going longer than I said, because we've been continuing for...
We've almost continued in half an hour extra, just alone. God damn it.
Yeah.
wow, there's so little new. There's just what? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I don't know how long this stream was, but I think we've gone a bit too long. Well, anyway, bye bye.